you reign!
This is the D-Generation cliX podcast with your hosts,
Who is Ravage?
Ryan Ruckman,
Ravage!
Hand me that bottle cap.
Miles Kane,
Hand me that paperclip. Grab that twine. Gun wrapper.
Daniel Schwab,
We
best friends, Asgard to Mouth, and Pete.
Cause I'm just me.
Welcome back to the D-Generation cliX podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me as always are Miles, Dan, and Pete. The sweatshop is back in full swing. Miles, anything happened since we last recorded on Tuesday?
No, not really. Yeah, I'm back to work. Had to go home early today because another company decided to drop stuff through the roof, so we couldn't do what we need to do.
That sucks. Or maybe it's good. I don't know.
At least you got paid. You got paid show up time, didn't you? Because that's not your fault. So you should have got paid show up time.
Oh, yeah, I got paid show up time, but yeah, it's prevailing wage, so
Yeah.
that's what sucks. I got show up time. It's $50 an hour, but it would have been nice to get the whole day.
Oh
Instead
yeah.
of just it's like, really? You know what I mean?
Well,
Because it's an hour drive there.
But you got what?
So-
Travel in minimum 4 hours.
No. Because I still did stuff, at another job that wasn't
Okay.
prevailing. So no, I got less than an hour. So I think just a total of hour there
Oh,
because
okay.
drive time and everything straight pay.
I didn't know if they give you travel for the drive time or not. So
Dan, did you have an exciting 2 days?
nope. I'm kind of uneventful right now. Sorry about that. I will have news probably next week.
I look forward to it. Pete, how have your last 48 hours been?
So basically started the day in Chicago at a conference and ended it in Wisconsin Dells on probably the worst Wi-Fi I've ever seen in my life. I'm pretty sure it asked me if who was trying to connect to AOL.com when I logged into it.
Oh, did you hear like the beeps and everything? That was great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But other than that, good. Happy to be here. Happy-ish that the sweatshop's open. I'm not sure. So...
Well, happy and excited to see how this turns out. For me, work's been pretty crazy the last couple weeks, and this week was no different. Long work days, and I'm off Thursdays, though, so today was at least the day that I was able to work on some YouTube stuff, and right now I'm about to finish that Wakanda 400 set, so that video will be dropping pretty soon. We do have a little bit of news. This week started the Scott Porter's Smash and Destroy unboxing series, and you can check that out on YouTube as always. So far, I think I'm really digging the pieces that we've seen. They're all pretty fun and unique, and excited to see more. Pre-releases are starting April 23rd, and release day is April 30th. Pete, do we have a Bookwood report?
We do. Hit the drop.
Bookwood Report!
Hello, friends. It's time for the Bookwood Report, the People's segment. This week, Bookwood had a little bit of a light week, but he still came through. I actually had to message him to remind him I had no Bookwood Report, but much like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant in the clutch, Bookwood came through for you, the community. So, we got Lar Fleas, Batman Team Up, Orange Ring, and all constructs. He got the Green Torch and Black Hand from War of Light. And just in the last probably hour, he got himself a Hercules Legacy figure. He missed on Monday, so nobody played him. So I don't have anything else for you.
Pretty weak week. All right, WrestleMania is this weekend, and earlier this week we put out a challenge to build a 400-point silver team that highlighted a WWE piece, not just throwing a WWE character on a meta team, but really highlighting the piece. And then we would pick our favorite and just prize that out. This is what I built. This week we had a 300 silver point event on Monday, so I ran Stone Cold Steve Austin with the Power Gem, HBK with the Remaker, and Spectral Mandarin Rings, and then Ultimate Warrior, who has the Warrior keyword, so he can be assigned the +1 longsword for free. Ultimate Warrior really put in work, and he was quite fun, actually. And Stone Cold, though, that's still a favorite. He had a good showing. He stunned, I think, half of your team, Pete, before going out in a turn?
Yeah, half of my team, and then I honestly had to punish that piece. I got so mad at that point. So yeah.
But that was just what I played at 300 points for fun. I did make a team for this as well. So the most fun was still Steve Austin. So I put the Power Gem on him again just so he can kind of keep going. His dial's a little bit little rough, as are some of the, or pretty much all of the WWE pieces, even though they're a lot of fun. So I put Spider-Ham on there, the new Prime, just to help with some other stuff and lock people down and affect the range game. And then it's a celebrity team with Spider-Man, so it all makes sense and come together here. Of course, Kevin's on here to help with the prob as Stone Cold kind of keeps moving along. And then I put the Chase Steve from Next Phase on here so that we can start giving people sidestep and probability control. And then Velma was kind of underused. She's still a celebrity, though. This is also the Chase, but from Batman Team Up. And she has a really unique outwit that lets you choose a keyword or team ability, and then that character can't use the chosen power. And then Sprite from the Eternals movie, she is also a celebrity. She has a very nice 8 range and a damage power that gives her outwit, prob, and shape change. And then just for some TK, because that helps a ton with the WWE pieces, gave her the universal weapon. And then this is one I just had to throw on here because she's just too good not to. So celebrity, the Harley Quinn from Masters of Time. And then Pete, I threw in just for you, Madam Web. Since since Stone Cold is now Spider-Man family because of Marvella, I can actually have Stone Cold go through walls as he's giving people stunners. And then Mary Jane for some paparazzis and some tie-up with Spider-Ham, giving those guys plasticity. So, and then Spider-Ham also is the only character with super strength, so he can carry around a heart-shaped herb to help healing, because that is a huge thing with the wrestlers also, is that once they take damage, they do change quite a bit, and it's a lot harder to get them moving. And then, as Pete said, he did punish Stone Cold pretty fast, so I did throw a 5-point Fortify on there as well, just to help keep him going. Miles, what did you build?
I built a similar team, but it's Giant Machine. I'm going to be highlighting Andre the Giant. A little known fact a lot of people don't know is that he owned a huge ranch and he drove around an ATV. So I thought this was very important. So I equipped him with the motorcycle. I'm playing him at full with the motorcycle to represent his ATV, driving around his ranch. I also went the Spider-Man family route. So I threw on Marvella with the spin ring to make all celebrities. Martin Lee, who I'm just going to leave him on there just for he gets the free support. He's just great. And then I have Sicarian Iron Man with the Cloak of Levitation, so he's now going to have potential to double up powers with the WE powers. Then I have the regular Spider-Ham, non-Prime Spider-Ham, with the Bucky's arm, because he works well with Sicarian Iron Man, so every time he's placed, be carried, TK'd, he does his own free place or someone sidesteps, he's going to drop another standard object, so you can just throw it on Sicarian's card, so you can always have him on there. Then we have Prime Spider-Ham with octopus arms, just so he's just that much more of a threat, and to give everyone plasticity. Madison, the release day figure, with Wonder Woman's bracelet, and I did the Wonder Woman bracelet because now since she has super senses, she'll be a 4 through 6, and then this also lets Spider-Ham actually be a 4 through 6 since he has a Spider Family TA, the senses on a 6 from Bucky's arm, and now the Wonder Woman will be able to give him that Spider Family TA. And then, yeah, so that's where I went with that. The reason why I like that Madison is because she has the ability of a talking goat help me, which I'm surprised Dan hasn't played this because him and goats Yeah. Perplex, and whenever she uses it, you immediately give a friendly character an action token. So on your turn, your Alpha Strike, you can just give Andre the Giant an action token, and then he's able to free move with WBE, and he's gonna have +2 speed, so you're gonna be able to free move 6 squares, and then he's gonna be able to charge another 6 squares with the action token, so he'll be able to do the slam if you want. But yeah, he's also gonna have a rollout to help protect him. And since he's at 110 points, you're going to be able to protect him from range attacks. You're also, so he's going to be your close attacker with Sakari and Iron Man really protecting him with range and the ridiculous amounts of objects that you can put on Sakarian's card to keep him alive.
Very nice. Yeah, I've not played Andre the Giant, actually. Do you have much of the WWE pieces?
I only have a few, but I do have Andre the Giant. Yeah, I found him for $2. I'm like, yeah, I have to buy him.
Solid. Dan, what did you build?
So the hilarious thing is my team is also Spider-Man family, but I went in a different route. So I played John Cena. Not the one that was never released, that just never saw legality. I played the main set one at 50. Just because I like that he gets reversal, so you can have a chance to make a free attack, which is nice. Because otherwise, him only making one attack a turn is not the greatest. I did give him a motorcycle because he just needs the movement, especially because he does drop off there a little bit. I also played him with the new Miles Morales with Mjolnir to give action tokens, and then I have Miss Marvel with the Blue Lantern ring to up his damage and attack value, because I think he's a 10 attack low dial, and then he'll be at least a 3 damage because he starts out at a 2. So he has outwit, which is nice, but and then I have Party Thor with the Avatar of Gaia, just because him healing potentially when he gets hit is good, and the 4 through 6 willpower I should be hitting that most turns, so I probably won't take the Gaia damage. And then I have Captain Gwen America for leadership across the board to keep Cena going. And then she is an outwit and can attack potentially. I have the black shirt Scott Porter for TK, Perplex, and all of his shenanigans. And then I have Marvella and I gave her spin and 0. I know she already has barrier, but this is just nice for the extra free barrier. And then spin, obviously, just for TK, because she's got, sidestep flight. And then my last piece, too, because Cena's trait is his signature move, which is the STF. So for each 5 or 6 in the attack roll, you can choose one, modify damage +1, or after resolutions, give a hit character an action token. So I played Spiderling to make sure, guarantee one of my 6s, so then I can just... Alright, I just got to get 1 6 in the attack roll, or 5, and I'm good to go. So buffing Cena's damage by a lot between Miss Marvel, and then that just feels good because I can usually get him to about 5 damage. So seemed halfway decent. So
there's some cool synergy in there for sure.
That was the idea. I was like, how can I actually get that move to work? So
Pete, what did you build?
Well, I can't believe you guys all ignored my boy, Eddie Guerrero.
Well,
we went Viva La.
There's some gems.
I did because you were going to build with him, so I picked something else.
We went Viva La Warrior, okay?
Nice.
And we're going to lie, we're going to cheat, and we're going to steal, and we're going to stay away from death. So I went with Prime Black Panther with the longsword. Eddie Guerrero, of course. Then Saki with the cloak, because once again, Miles steals all my ideas and gets to talk out of them before I do. Because I said, you know what's better than one WWE pack? 2 WWE packs on the same team. Sky Tyrant with the Spectre ring just to soften everybody up for the 3 amigos. Death Metal Wonder Woman, Black Panther, the Legacy, because I don't like sidelines, and Shuri from the Black Panther set, and good old black shirt Scott Porter, so I can re-roll even more re-rolls. So when my hot dice come up with 5 straight 3s in a row, I can at least make myself feel better for 2 of them.
Wait, so quick question, because death metal is banned now.
Oh, that's right. You made that before.
I did.
Okay.
So I'd probably flip out Diana, take off Spectral, and throw. Well, actually, you don't even need rivalry. So yeah, I just flip out Diana, bring something across.
Yeah, that works. You got plenty of aggression there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not. This is. Listen, I'm either going down quick or somebody's dying quick. But we are lying, cheating, and stealing from death. Viva la warrior.
I kind of want to play these now.
I kind of want to play them too.
They
Honestly,
are
I was pretty happy with this team.
they are actually a lot of fun. That's like the idea. They're a lot of fun. My whole team's idea was to token up the opposing team to give Cena room to maneuver. That was basically my idea.
Yeah, it's really sad we only got one wave of this. All right, we
Oh,
did
yeah,
get a few submissions here, so let's see what we got sent in. So we do have one from Ryan Bookwood.
All right, so he's playing a monster team. He's got Undertaker at 100 points with Remaker and Spectral, and then he's got the Legacy Carnage with the Hell Cycle, Sky Tyrant with the +1 Longsword because he gets that for free, Spider Ham with the Darkhold, Venom Magneto with the Cloak Levitation. I believe this is White Shirt Porter. Yes, White Shirt Porter with the Sinestro Core Ring, Commissioner with the Spin Ring, and then the 10-point Colossal Carnage. No offense, Bookwood, but this feels like you just put a bunch of good things and then Undertaker.
Well, he did a little write up here. Did
Yeah,
you
it
see
sounds
his...
like he didn't follow the rules. You know, that's what Bookwood does.
Well, he says here, so here's my submission. No tricks, just straight in-your-face combat. Prime Spider-Ham is there to give out that sweet trait to everyone and has the Darkhold for extra perplex and outwit. Venom Mag will TK out Carnage and Sky Tyrant while slowly moving up Taker, and the other for a Tombstone Pile Driver. Rest in peace. All right, then we have a submission from Peter Marshfield. Who wants to read this one?
It says not found, so it looks like it's another.
No, that's on me.
I got it. I can do this one too. It's fine.
All right.
So he's playing Mystical. So he's got the Mistress Death from Deadpool. Yeah, the newer one, Deadpool, the X-Force. Yeah, with Mjolnir. Juggernaut from Collector's Trove with the +1 Longsword. Finn Balor with Stormbreaker. And then the Wanda Maximoff from Disney Plus because he really likes Defend with Captain Carter's Shield. Green Man with the Avatar of Khonshu. Jennifer Kale with the Nightbringer and Spin Ring. This is interesting. I mean, I rock the Mister. I like the Mister's Death thing. That's always fun to just watch and be like, hey, I've hit you. Guess what? You take double damage. So, Juggernaut is pretty good with the +1 Longsword too. I know people like the Crimson Gem, but the +1 Longsword is pretty good too. I guess I don't understand the oh well he just it allows Mistress Death to just see through pretty much everything. Yeah, it's not bad. I like it. So, but she's punching, so I don't really understand that, I guess.
His write up was the idea is that the team is carried into position by Green Man, except for Finn. He just moves himself into position. Then positioning itself is to be just far enough for Mistress Death to be able to drop the hammer. Juggernaut is to help pull my opponent to me, since you can Ares bomb with Jugs, and then you get to hit everyone within 4, plus his follow up, which puts Finn in position. Kayla's there to also force the close combat, while Wanda just makes sure that the 20 sticks. The ideal map is Phoenix Nest to make the deployment difficult for my opponent. Yeah, I like the use of Finn with all that.
Yeah, I mean him just being like, hey, you don't have a defense power is always good. So.
All right, and then last we have William Dayroker, who did a John Cena team, the You Can't See Me one. So it looks like he went Spider-Man family as well. He also took the Spider-Ham, the Prime Spider-Ham, and then his John Cena has Bucky's arm. And then he went with 3 John Cenas. So one has Bucky's arm, one has the +1 longsword, and then the other one has the power gem. And then,
and then he's got double.
Did you notice his team name?
Just nah. Yeah. That's pretty good too.
That's really good. Yeah.
Then he's got the Legacy Lockjaw with the Crimson Gem, another Lockjaw with nothing, and then he's using Spider Cat, the White Shirt Scott Porter with the Sinestro Core Ring, Gwen Stacy with the universal weapon, and that's the one that turns off. What is it? Or no, that's the one from Beyond Amazing. That's just leadership. Okay.
Yeah, it's the leadership one, and she can swap into the chases, so that's good.
Yeah, she is good. And then we have
Unfortunately,
Marvella.
this is no longer legal.
What did we lose?
Wait, what?
Oh, because of the Highlander.
Oh,
That's
there's-
right.
Yeah. There's
Oh, the
multiple
maze.
draws, multiple
Yeah, the
maze,
double,
and
yeah, the
multiple
double,
John
the double draw, the Cena, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, the whole thing kind of threw us all off because we switched gears and put up another thread for that silver recording, and then the rules changes kind of changed this whole thing too. So that's
But
fine.
I still like the team a lot. So
Yeah, this is pretty neat. Two Aunt Mays there at the end with the Marvella as well. So very cool team, Bill. He says, so this is his write-up, is the optimal first turn would be to go second and pick a wide open 2x2 map. You don't care about immunity, so you go all the way across the map, pinning them to the back with the Cenas. If they barrier, one lockjaw can bust barrier, so you can do that first. Spider-Ham gives everyone on your team plasticity, so it will be difficult for them to try to escape. If Cena hit, they can't take damage. If not, you can mastermind to lockjaws and then heal them with the Aunt Maze. You place Porter behind the Cenas and just pulse wave knockback continuously, and they go second and pick a big map. If they go second and pick a big map, you have a bunch of perplex and TK. Lockjaw has phasing, so it probably ends up the same way either way. That was also very cool. This one might be the winner, actually.
Yeah. The team name is just epic.
It's so good.
Yeah, and didn't we have a McConnell team too?
No, we
Am I
don't.
missing that one.
That's it. That's
Wait.
the link to the other thing.
Wait, we did. I thought I could have swore we had McConnell sent
Yeah.
a team.
Yeah.
I just want the listeners to know that I appreciate all the teams and the effort for the team names. That's really what I look for, is the team names.
McConnell did something similar to you, Pete. He was Viva la X-Men, so he's Eddie Guerrero with the +1 longsword. The Spider-Man LE that makes X-Men with less points have the Spider-Man TA with Warlock. Kong, Spider-Ham with Pog Your Pog, and then Genesis APOC. Lila Cheney with the Broadsword Construct. The Colossal Carnage, right? Yeah. And then a suited henchman with the Darkhold. I like it, McConnell. I know you've built with the Gen APOC combo before, so this is very creative. I dig it. And giving the Gen APOC's Spider-Man family, so when you do hit that stop click, they have a 4 through 6 senses. Just feels dirty.
I remade my team this morning, and I had to take Kong off because he just got banned. I think everything else on there is legal, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he sent it well before all the changes rolled out. That just changed a whole lot when all that popped up. So
I think Eddie Guerrero was one of the few
Dude,
that
I'm-
actually did see a couple teams.
Yeah, I believe he made at least one team when we were going over the states. I'm pretty sure.
well, who did?
Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, I think so. I remember him being on at least one team. Yeah.
There's also a silver event at Highlander Games this weekend. We had both Lou Minotti and McConnell Lamar keeping us updated with how it was both during and after. And one of McConnell's questions he asked in our listener questions was, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the teams that showed up for Highlander Games silver event from this past weekend. It was cut to top 4. Now remember, this event was before the silver changes that went into effect this week, so some things on these teams might not be legal anymore, but it's still a nice heads up for what you might see at Rock Cup next month. And if you remember from last week's episode, Lou asked who would do better, McConnell or himself. So I know I voted for McConnell. Where did you guys land?
I'm McConnell.
Oh, I definitely voted for McConnell.
Did you? I feel
That's-
like
that
everyone
was-
else went for Lou.
No, I'm pretty sure
I
I'm pretty sure I voted for McConnell. I like McConnell. McConnell's good people.
Or maybe it was split. Maybe Dan went with McConnell and Pete and Miles said Lou.
I might have went with Lou, but I was pretty sure I went with McConnell because I like McConnell. Lou, I'm still on the fence with. No, I like Lou too.
It's not like I don't like Lou, but I didn't get the Lou token at Worlds last year, so
Oh, that is rough.
Saying.
McConnell, we're in the standings, and it looks like none of the teams are actually able to be brought up. I don't know why that is, though.
Yeah, I got his team though. I can go over. I got it. I can go over it at least. So.
Okay. Well, here he came in third. Fourth place was Thomas Benage, and then second place was Michael Kornichuk, and then in first place was Isaac AB. Do you want to read what McConnell played? I know he beat Lou.
He did. So McConnell was playing Doom Swap. So I believe he started with the Annihilating Conqueror because he's making everybody Latveria. So he's got Doctor Doom with the time platform. He's also got Doom Sorcerer Supreme on the sideline, and he's got Robo Doom. So his other figure was the Yondu, the one that you roll to remove equipment. And then I believe he said he had Liar and Daimonic on him for 10 range triple target mind control that you can see through hindering. And then he has Despero on there. And he gave him the Sinestro Core Ring for Constructs and Perplex, which is pretty solid. And then he has Griever with the Serpent Crown, which is actually like a really interesting utility of her. She's there for like Dark Side / Plant matchups. Next was Legacy Cosmo to shut off powers. And then he could also TK himself or TK someone with Cosmo to push Cosmo to his special damage power too. So that's also another neat trick you can do with that. And then Reverse Flash, and I believe he had Stormbreaker. No. I think he wound up going with Crimson Gem, and then he also had Zenzi on the team and a Timebreaker, which I believe was the regular Timebreakers, I think. So, and then he had a pretty solid sideline too. I know his like big callouts were Mimic and Grodd because they were pretty solid all the way through his day.
Yeah, the Doom Swap is a solid silver tech for sure. That's honestly probably even going to continue to be just better now that Butterfly is sidelined.
Yeah,
it just gives you a lot of utility. I think I just talking to him, or maybe it was Lou, but I know some of the bigger takeaways was that there were no collector teams, which was very surprising.
That was wild to see no collectors.
And then no main force Beetlejuice, so bravo for nobody playing that trash.
So going forward, like we know Latveria and Doom Swap is a huge thing. Like what happens when MOE and that swap comes off? Do you think that's just automatically 125 silver builds?
No, I honestly think it could be either one. Some people might play both, but I think that with you only having so many slots on your sideline, even with 8, I mean, right? I feel like it's going to be you pick one or the other. You're going to be stretching that sideline otherwise if you're trying to play both.
I think the best thing to do would be adding the Ultra Chase Mephisto to the restricted list. That'll change its effectiveness and probably have less people playing it, but it's just really, really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, once they come off after Worlds, I would assume that they're going to be on quite a few teams. So I think, what do you think about that, though? Ultra Chase Mephisto going on the restricted list?
I like that because it really makes you then go, oh, I can only play, like certain thing or whatever, certain things.
It just doesn't make the whole swap as potent, like as much of a must play.
Yeah. I mean, even without Mephisto, they're still just that's 50 points of amazing utility.
Yeah, but if you can also add Mephisto on, I'm not sure what other way there is to make sure that they're not 125 points by adding 2 at all times. Makes it even better. Otherwise, it's 8? It's 80 then.
Yeah, it's 80. Yep.
Yeah, I think I actually like him on the restricted list. Honestly, if not, it's just
it makes you think a little bit about building with them at least.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's the point of the restricted list is like those game elements are so powerful that's what that's where I see it now is like that's why you only can get one of them.
Yeah.
And Mephisto is very powerful just for 30 points in it, like by his own.
And so having to choose between like him and the Porters or that's probably the main two, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, good job McConnell for coming in third, nice showing, and thanks for beating Lou like I knew you would. Now, this last weekend, Miles actually got to play in his first huge last man standing match and the Pacific Northwest second. Miles, do you want to tell us about how that went down?
Yeah, so originally we were supposed to have 16 people, and the day before we had four or five pull out, and then so we were able to bring in someone else, and we decided that it would just be easier just to throw us all on the map. So we had was it 5 people that built for animal come, and then we had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 soldiers. So we just threw them all on the maps. Our maps were Doom's Garden from the Secret Invasion set. So we had 3 of those put together in the middle because it had like lasers that blocked line of fire to help protect people, and then we just treated the middle as elevated to also help protection, so it wasn't as open as it looked. And we played actually. It was a really fun game. It was a little bit even. I think soldiers are definitely stronger than animals, at least out here. I ended up taking it. My team was where is this team at? I decided to play the potato team, which I know that as I hate Kryptonians, but before slaughtering me, Red Sun Superman does not have Kryptonian keywords, so I think I'm safe. Since we have the old cards with no dial in the back or half cost, I played him at full, so he's only 140. I played him with the Nightbringer and the Spectral, and then I played the new Deathlock with Scarface, Red Guardian with the Legacy or with his team up card, which granted at the beginning of my turn I was able to choose Empower Enhancement, so friendly characters with the Winter Guard keyword were able to use that power until I chose again. So I had the Blue Lantern ring, so that way all the constructs also had Empower Enhancement, and then Perdegaton with an Indigo Tri-Ring. And that Deathlock is insane with Scarface. It's extremely fun. The Superman, he has one trait that is just bonkers, or is a damage power, which is Superman can use leadership, and when an opposing character hits Superman, even if his power is lost, after action resolve, you may place that character adjacent to a different opposing character. And so since we have, the long maps, someone came and hit me, I'd throw them all the way across to the next, 3 maps over. So no one really wanted to hit me. So I pulled that off a few times. It was actually extremely fun. So we had, I only lost, Perdegaton, I think towards the end. Everyone didn't send me their builds. There were just so many teams that it was really hard to try and keep track of, to try and remember them all. But in second place came the luckiest team. That was Matt. He had played animals. He had Caveman Wally West with the long sword, Flash Raptor at 50, the War of the Realms Rocket Raccoon with lightning and spectral, Legacy Cosmo with spin and the lyre, Prime High Evo at 40, Chip with the broadsword and the Raven Pog. And we were put next to each other, and I saw him as a huge threat, so I'm like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and kill you. And that's where Deathlock really came in handy, because Caveman Wally West couldn't do anything. He can't do rollouts. His Flash Raptor couldn't really compete, because I just killed him. And then, so I was able to take him out. I told him after I neutered his Flash Raptor and took out his Wally West, I was like, hey, I said, I'm going to go to the middle map. I said, if you want to live, leave me alone. And I also said that to everyone that was also on the map with me, which was also, we had Jason, who was playing an animal, and he had Lockjaw with Maggot, Legacy, Cosmo, and an Ultra Humanite. And he decided to mind control someone's Captain Marvel. I think it was Kaiser's Captain Marvel to hit me. It was the gravity feed one for like 150, I think it is.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he's like, please don't send me to my dad. Don't send me to my dad. No. And his dad was all the way on the other side. And I was like, that's exactly where you're going. So he went on. I put him just right in the middle of it. Just yeah, and so it was fun seeing people like they figured mind controlling me, or mind controlling other figures to hit me. So then I would just send them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Yeah, that Red Sun Superman is just, it's nasty. And the only reason why Matt was able to actually get second was because the only figure that he had left was Prime High Evolutionary, and there was 3 Bloodstones on the map, so no one was healing, and so I just left him alone. Yeah, we've already talked about it, and we're not going to have them stack because everybody out here loves playing the Bloodstones. So we're trying to make it fair. 'Cause a lot of people died because of all those Bloodstones. Like some people, they weren't really expecting that, and so and like they were asking me, and I was like, I said this is where a group effort. So if somebody decides, then I'm not going to say yes. Like I want it, a group decision. And then in third place, who realistically should have been second, was David, who was Kaiser's dad. He had Soldier. He did the Legacy Cap with Mjolnir, Ronin with Universal Weapon, Falcon with Captain America's Shield, the Disney Plus one, King Killmonger with the Octopus Arms, and Perdegatum with the Bloodstone. He fared pretty well. He was just slowly moving around with his other opponents because he was surrounded by animals, and they decided to just take each other out, which I think, we're just starting to do the monthlies, and so they're really not understanding like how to survive and everything. Like the way that I was playing it, a few people noticed, was that I was picking my shots. So I was attacking and killing something every turn, but I was always making sure that I wouldn't leave myself in a precarious position. Giving that Superman stealth was huge. That the only person that could have shot through stealth was that Captain Marvel, but she was 3 maps away, so I don't have to worry about her. So I was able to really protect myself with that, and just I guess played like a dick by just pinging people, and then telling people leave me alone, and I'm not going to kill you. And then they would come and attack me, so I'd kill them, and they go, "What the heck? Why do you keep saying I'm going to go over here," and then you just keep picking us apart? And I'm like, I told you. I said, if you want to poke the bear, I'm just going to kill you. So they just didn't, yeah. It was interesting on those maps. I know you don't like it because they're paper. Definitely, but we had 12 people, so it was insane. Because the starting areas, we had 2 people on, like, where normally you would have 1 person, we'd have 2 people, and then, yeah, it got out of hand for the starting areas.
We normally have, I think the most we've had is 8. Usually we have 7, and I think that's the most we've ever had. But how did you manage 12 on one map and just alternating turns and all that? Was it really rough? Do you wish you would have broken up it into 2 games of 6?
So what we did, so what we did was, so we had those 3. They're 3x3 maps. So they're the 24x24.
Okay.
So we had, where like you usually have 1 person start, we'd have 1 on the left corner, 1 on the right corner of that map. Same thing. And the same thing with those 2. All over. So it'd be 2, 4, 6. Right, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, and then we had 1 person on each edge.
Okay. And then, we obviously, it's called the monthly because we usually play once a month. And here it's always like one generic keyword, or we're playing the same thing where everyone has to have like a named keyword or something like that. So when you guys ended up breaking it up into every other month, you guys are doing what usually?
So we decided that because we have, our players are a lot different than out there, so we voted on some different keywords. A lot of people also want to do scientists, so they voted on scientists to be for our June, which is going to be interesting. I chose to ban the spot. Okay. So, and I'm not playing the spot, but yeah. Scientist seems really rough because I know we have a lot of casual players, and so I'm really worried that people are going to really go ham. I'm not. I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. Just because like I felt bad. Like I didn't realize that Red Sun Superman would do what he did. Like it wasn't even close. Like
what did you think he was gonna do? Especially being half off. Like, are you?
No, I understand that, but like I was getting triple teamed and surviving, killing 3 teams.
It's just one of those things where if everyone would have stopped attacking each other and realized that Miles was the biggest threat, then they could have taken him out. The problem is that everyone doesn't want to be the person that gets hit and then allows that to happen. So they always keep going back and forth and weakening each other. And then the person that plays a team like Miles ends up winning. That happens still here, and we're on year 3 of it.
Wait, does
Yeah,
it really?
no, there's
It does.
I feel like we just like gun for each other half the time. I don't know.
Here's a perfect
yeah, no,
example.
that's how it is. Yeah, 'cause-
How about this one, Dan? When we were playing the Warrior game, and you and I were in the church, and Harris had a full team out there, and you just kept coming right at me over and over and over again because I put that adamantium ball and chain on Apocalypse.
Well, what did you expect?
I've just
You do
given you an
something-
example. See, you'd rather make sure that I also don't win instead of giving either of us a chance to win and having Harris come in with a full team. That's
Dude,
just
I'm
how it
definitely
goes.
okay with-
Yeah, they literally said that to me too. They go, you know what? We're trying to weaken you because if we're gonna lose, we got to make sure you don't win. And I told them, I said, I'm just gonna be able to kill you.
Yeah.
Because Superman is it's like that Flash Raptor. So the whole entire trick that I was trying to work Matt, because we were trying to get an idea on. So before he went and attacked my Superman, the entire plan before I killed him was for him to come in with Flash Raptor or Caveman Wally to hit my Superman, so I could bring him across the map where there's a bunch of people, and he'd be able to just do flurry attacks, or
I'm pretty sure that if the ball or the ball was on the other foot there, like if I had done that to you, I'm pretty sure I would have got all the vitriol after that. So.
It's possible, but that's usually what happens. Is that there's a lot of I'm gonna go back at the person that just went after me instead of truces being called. A lot of times, truces are not accepted after an attack has been made.
I'm just laughing at this because the number one person that just comes for violence for no reason is you.
Me?
Oh, absolutely.
I try to get the game moving.
Absolutely. Yeah, okay. There's some gaslighting going on here tonight.
No.
You invoke. Oh my god. This is literally, we've been playing for 3 years. We finally had our first gentleman's walk off the other game last month.
Last month in the yeah.
That should happen a lot more. I don't know what you're talking about. No one ever takes me up on it.
Nobody ever takes me up on it. Yeah.
Miles, I am curious. The cool thing I thought that Matt played was that Raven Pog. Did that come into play at all?
Unfortunately, no.
Do you remember what took it out?
I did.
Did it do anything, or you just took it out?
It did nothing. I took it out with the energy explosion because I had energy explosion with what's his name? Deathlock because of Scarface.
He has invincible, so you're not worried about the mistakes. That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's sad to me because that was one that I was actually hoping to see it do some cool stuff.
Yeah. No, I knew the threat. Like, yeah, I wasn't a chance.
Hey, Miles.
A chance with that rocket for the right people, but instead he decided to go after me and said, yeah.
How did it feel to be your local Bookwood?
Man,
just punching baby seals.
Oh, he didn't just punch the baby seals. Like, man, he just ran them over.
Is there anything else
Pete.
you wanted to add, Miles, about the game, the Invitational?
No, it was extremely fun. Since we have so many people that want in on it, it's pretty much like if you said you're going to be here and you didn't, you're going to go to the back of the line. So everybody that was there for this month will be for sure. We're maxing it out. I think we're maxing it at 10.
Okay.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Solid.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people.
That's awesome.
And we're doing scientist. I'm a little sad that I did pick that because I totally forgot how meta that keyword is.
Yeah,
so I'm really hoping I'm really hoping people don't go the meta route because we have like 3 or 4 players that like this is the only time they really play
Mhm.
I was gonna say,
because they don't do competitive.
as someone who's played
Sometimes.
scientist for like 8 months, I'm surprised that you forgot that scientist is as like hot as it is.
Well, no, it's no, I do realize scientist is good, but it's so it just goes it gets so crazy when you actually like I totally forgot like especially like even the older figures. Like there's like a scientist that's Thanos that's just insane. So for he
Yeah.
had scientist.
You mean the one you can get at 300? You can play it at half off for 150. Yeah, like that thing's
Yeah,
that
'cause
thing.
yeah, when I was going through it, I'm like, yeah, no, there's plants and spot and I'm like and collector.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure we're gonna see a few collectors.
The monthly's an interesting arm race, right? So that's what happens. That's why a lot of the rules that Rebens had to institute is like changes because people have been kind of enforced them or forced them to do it. So
Yeah, that's why we did the Bloodstone. That's why we're like, no, the
yeah,
Bloodstone doesn't stack. That's just no, because there was people that like even after one person was taken out, like they still couldn't heal, and like so they weren't even able to. Because Ray, who was he was running Man Thing and Camo, and I think a Wendigo. He was even able to pull off his Wendigo because he healed 3 less. And then yeah, Camo would just got chewed up, and so did Man Thing because they can't heal.
Yeah, they're like steel energy's utterly useless.
How long
Yeah,
was your match?
so. We started at 11 and we got done just under 8 hours. I just remember
So
that because
one thing
Mike C played Puck and he said, "Oh, what time is it?" He's like, "Yes, Puck's been alive for 7 hours." And then someone went and literally killed Puck. And I'm like, right after he said that,
I mean, honestly though,
with Ragman.
that Bloodstone having 3 of them might have been why you guys were able to end it with 12 people in under 8 hours.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, yeah,
So, like I said, there's a lot of things that balance each other out. So when
yeah.
you
It's
realize
just
you're
that
in it for the
people
long
weren't
haul,
able to play. Yeah, but they weren't able to play the figures, like they wanted to,
I'm
And
real
like that's what
curious.
this whole entire thing is trying to get people to have fun. And
Yeah.
so you could see that, like Raywood didn't have fun. He couldn't play the Wendigo like he wanted to. He couldn't play Camo. He couldn't play Man Thing. Like his team was all about healing. And
Yeah.
it's just like
I'm real
so.
curious. Ours is coming up this weekend, and I'm really curious what people play this weekend. So
yeah,
It's next
yeah. But
weekend.
that's the thing. Next weekend.
wait.
That's what happens though.
Sorry,
Like
sorry, that's what I meant next weekend.
so you'll build a team, and then somebody will drop something on the board, and you're just like, well, damn it, I'm screwed unless somebody kills that piece.
Yep.
Yeah, no, everyone is
Yeah.
now wanting to that Superman. They go, "Oh, I didn't realize he was that good." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
And
So
something to
I'm
think about
expecting to
too
see
is that the winner might
a lot
ban
of
that
fun.
piece next time too. So it's something that's a
And
cool
that's
thing
yeah.
we added this year. I think it was
Mhm.
or end of last year. Maybe we added that middle
I
of the
think it was
year.
last
Yeah,
year.
and I'm gonna tone it down a little bit because like I'm really methodical and like because a lot of them are more like the casual and like I was just playing methodical and just picking, you know, playing petty. Oh, I'm gonna TK hypersonic hit you from range. I'm gonna go and then I'm gonna put myself in stealth. Now you can't get to me, And I can literally kill like pretty much any figure on the map with a range
So
attack with Superman.
Redmond would have done that and then tried to tell you he wasn't trying to like cause any problems.
No, I don't think
I
so.
wasn't. I was trying to survive. So
Well,
yeah.
again, the thing is with those older figures too is them being half off changes their scope a lot because like even if they dip down, it's not such a heavy point investment or as heavy. So
And
like
that Superman does not dip. I mean, he only took a few damage. I was like, that was the best part too. So we when we had 3 bloodstones, I did take damage, and I had to support. I rolled a 6 4 times in a row. I'm like, I at least get a heal 1.
goal.
So there's definite powers that I feel like in that format have a lot more advantage than even in like modern or silver. So what is your opinion, Miles? Because I'm curious to hear it, having played it. Because
Stealth.
there's two powers that I feel like you have to absolutely have.
Um, stealth is very important. I think for this.
Stealth or some kind of way to not be targeted immediately is big.
Yeah, yeah. The stealth was huge. Skullpire, he did interesting. He had Spider Rex at 100, Prime Spider-Man, Spider Cat, and then he also had Wendigo that made the Pog.
Also, he
So
wasn't
he was
actually, but he wasn't actually. He didn't follow the theme because Prime Spidey doesn't like. He's not animal.
Spider-Ham is Prime
I.
Spider-Ham.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Prime Spider-Man. Sorry.
No, Prime Spider-Ham. Yeah, no, and he made it all. He made them all Spider Family because
Oh yeah.
Spider Cat gave Wendigo. Yeah,
Yep.
and
Oh
so
yeah.
he's able
awesome.
to protect himself for a long time. Yeah. And then Spider Hammer that piece put in work per usual.
Oh, yeah.
Pete, what would you say
Yeah.
the top 2 powers are?
I would agree. Stealth is it, and I would say support. Honestly,
Yeah.
once support got changed,
Oh yeah.
it's humongous.
Yeah.
Like even with the Bloodstone, I'm not worried about it. Honestly, and before that, it was Steel Energy,
Right.
Mhm.
Steel Energy, and probably Pensai. Honestly, but I always build off of any board wide effects I can get that month. So like if I can do something to impact the game where my opponents are whittling down each other and I can make a decision to help or hurt somebody, which overall helps me no matter what, that's what I look for. So that's how I
Yeah,
build up monthlies.
Yeah, support. Yeah, that's why I had to get the Indigo ring onto him, and obviously I had to wait for one of the Bloodstones to
But
drop.
Yeah.
think about in our games, like when we play Dan and Rebin, like how far away you're counting out squares because people can get 14 to sometimes even up to 20 squares without a second thought. And that's wild.
Hmm.
Yeah, the
So,
Superman has 17 reach by himself, 21 with a TK.
It's not frequently the
And then
best
the
idea
one
to
thing
sell
that,
out, though.
Yeah.
yeah, and
That's
we're
kind of the
still in
thing.
the
Is I don't unless I know my piece is good to go. Like I'm not gonna just sell out like that hard. Like with because like there's gonna be so much recompense if I do that and I hit. Like if I go over and I like land a big hit on something, I'm getting retaliation from whoever I just hit, and then probably there's blood in the water. That means the nearest person nearby, which is usually Christine, is then gonna come in behind me and be like, well, there my team is now gonna get mulched.
Well,
yeah,
Dan,
and I
you
did have to
used to.
implement a rule that you guys didn't have to deal with, luckily.
What's that?
So they were. Jason was telling Matt that since he has a Bloodstone and can regen, just leave Prime Evo in the storm so that he can win and I'm like, no, that's not how it works. The storm ends. I said, I'm sitting here. So that's you conceding. If you want to stay in the storm, I'm not coming to get you.
So the storm is you always take damage and you can't heal in the storm.
Exactly.
Okay, can't heal. Okay, all right. Yeah,
Yeah, that was dude. That was something that we made like right away because of
Yeah.
okay. I didn't see
that.
that can't heal. Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, so I'm like, no, it's you can stay in that storm. So you
That
can
was like
just
the first.
concede.
That was the first thing I thought was, well, if there's healing inside the storm, that's really busted because you could just
Yeah,
sit and heal the whole time.
yeah, and it's totally new. Yeah, this is only
Uh,
the second one, so we're still trying to implement the rules. So a lot of people are still getting frustrated. It's going to be a learning curve.
yeah, I
But
get
everyone
that.
overall, I think, had fun. Yeah, it was a long day, for sure.
well, I'm old
Talking
enough to
like
remember
30
when the
minutes between
storm
turns.
had to become a thing because people just hang out
Hmm.
like the
It
whole
was
game and send out like, yeah.
Yeah, and Matt did specifically say he's like, please don't mention that I pulled a Daryl and just sat and waited. I said, oh, I'm calling you out
Like, well, it sounds like you did.
because he did not deserve second. He only had Prime Evo, and only out of the 12 people, I think maybe 3 people were eliminated at that
Mhm.
time when he only had Prime Evo, and so he was able to last until he was second.
Yeah,
So I will say one thing that has changed the math too at the end of the game is how now like first place, second place, and third place get something and somebody else doesn't.
Yeah,
Because like there's many times I'm like, all right, I just got to get in the top 3 so I
Yeah.
can have a little bit of advantage next month.
that was a good change, I think, too.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, make it.
and
100%.
the one
I,
object that was awesome to see pulled off was the Captain America, the Iconics, because Mike played that, and it
What
was
did he play?
hilarious. by turn 2 he was click 1 on the map.
Oh, the
Oh,
ice.
Tapping the ice.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. That's pretty
Yeah, everyone was purposely rolling leadership just to see if we could get how fast we can get him out.
I mean, heck, I would. I'd be like, sure, why not? Like, what is he gonna? He's not gonna break the game that hard.
No. So it was fun. I'm like leadership, leadership. Yeah. So that was cool. By his second turn, he was out.
The interactions from the monthly and the table talk is like the best.
Right.
Like you're weighing in on other people's turns. Like from across, you're like, I'm not even involved, but here's what I do. They both look at you, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
listen,
that's what they're getting used to. Yeah, they're not used to that. And I told them, like, oh no. I said, if you guys want to get in cahoots, by all means.
Mhm.
Let's
Well, it was like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was like the past month. It was like the past month because it was like Darkseid was such a threat. I was like, Looper, I can pants Darkseid. I need you to hit him after I do this because I'm not gonna live past that. So
Oh, there's many general person agreements or parlays, as we say. There's
yeah,
all
Yes.
kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, it's all part
No,
of.
that's why I was.
There's
Yeah,
cash
I
bounties for Dan's pieces routinely.
I
know.
really wanted him to hit Superman with Flash Raptor, but he was iffy on it, and I just couldn't take a chance. So I could bring him over across the map and just giant reach Quake for free, everyone, because it's not after resolutions; it's immediately. So even if you hit someone hits you with Flurry, you're just like, well, there you go.
I bet something of mine probably gets bountied this next month, Pete. So it's probably gonna be interesting.
I don't know. What's next month? This month? It's animals,
Animals.
isn't
Animal.
it?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll see, Dan. The cash, the bank's always open for the right price.
I don't-
Like Ted DiBiase said, everybody has a price.
Don't forget, Bookwood did say he was going to attend this one, so he might have 8 people, and
Wait,
Bookwood's
he's gonna be
first.
he's gonna be an
I
animal.
will.
That's what he said. We'll see.
Oh, he is gonna get the schooling of a lifetime.
Bookwood shows up. This is the first ever potential bounty of a player, not a piece,
That's true.
which just drives up the price. That's all that's going to happen.
That's gonna make him try even harder.
Oh, we know what we're getting with that guy.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So here's the funnest part of this conversation, honestly, because this is really where this episode went from like we're not going to have much to like now we're going to talk for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Is honestly, there's nothing else that I have more fun with than playing with my playgroup monthly. So if you're thinking about this, do it. Even if it's not what Redmond, like Christine and Ryan and Oliver do, it's a blast.
Oh,
You
yeah.
will love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what was it last month? Like, I was getting double teamed towards the end there, and I had like such a good time just seeing how long I could live. I was like, someone's gonna kill me, but how long can I stave off the inevitable?
Yeah, I just like seeing how the game evolves over time. It's a blast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I don't know if we're gonna do scientists after this because I know it's gonna be a problem, but some people were asking for it, and I was like, yeah, let's go scientists. Why not?
Trial it out. It's on our one of
Yeah.
our months. That's the multi-keyword.
Yeah, in July.
Yeah. Yeah, the all scientists though, because yeah, I mean, there's plants, there's collector. It was probably the hardest one for me to figure out what to ban because
Mhm.
originally it was gonna be collector, and I'm like,
There's Prime
Oh,
Spidey.
fine.
There's all kinds.
yeah,
of
Prime Spider, yeah, Prime Spider Ham though. If someone was really worried about dealing with a collector, there's Prime Spider Ham, who's good against a lot of other things too. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I just need a ban spot. People can try and play plants, but like with maps being that big, it's gonna be so hard to really get plants to dominate anyone outside of your little thing. You know?
Is your thing still Highlander too?
Yeah, it's the exact same rules as your guys'. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you can't really abuse them as heavily as you can like in modern. That's the thing too. So
Yeah.
you can't run like double man things. So you're not putting out eight squares
No.
with plant markers. Or
But even if you could place down 8, like how are you gonna win the game?
yeah,
You know, it's
No, I agree.
like 3 or 4 with as many players as we have. It's 4 maps.
mm-hmm.
Like, what do you how? And then you have the storm coming. Like, so
Yeah.
are you gonna attack without even have her take damage, or are you gonna have her move out of the storm because the map also closes in, from top to bottom too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's different strategies.
Yeah, and that's why I thought Spot would be the best figure, because I mean he can wreck. So
All right, well, I could talk about the monthly games forever, and just listening to you guys talk about yours, I could listen to you talk about how it played out for a long time too.
it's awesome. Yeah.
Let's go to the listener questions. We do have a few.
Your ass better call somebody!
All right, first we have William Holland. He says, make 3 waves of WWE clicks. The first is the Rock and Wrestling era. The next is the Attitude era. And the last of the Women's Revolution. You must use figures that have not been made yet. Chase set among the 3 sets. And then he also added NXT and Blue Chippers with Leviathan and Prototype as examples. What would you consider the Rock and Wrestling era? Is that like
The Rock and
Hogan?
Wrestling era is Hogan. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's going to be from
70s, 80s.
No, it's going to be from 1984 when he won the title, because that's when the Rock and Wrestling came in with Cyndi Lauper. And then I would probably say up until WrestleMania 5 it was like a good 4 years runway to the Rock and Wrestling.
Okay. And we already got Macho Man, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously Hulk Hogan
Hogan.
needs to be in there for sure. DiBiase.
Yeah. Do DiBiase. Yeah.
Was he back that? Was
Roddy
he?
Piper.
Did he go back that far? Oh, Roddy Piper, absolutely.
Yeah. DiBiase was 87. Debuted in 87.
Okay.
Yokozuna.
Big John.
No.
Big John Stud.
Yeah. Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy,
Oh yeah, King Kong Bundy.
the Twin Towers. You need those two. Akeem the African Dream and Big Boss Man.
Jake the Snake. Would he be in there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Paul
absolutely.
Orndorff. Mr. T, because you need Mr. T. I mean, he headlined the first WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty good list there. All right. What about the
Yeah.
Attitude Era? I think we definitely need the rest of DX
Oh, hold on. The only thing is you would have to have in Rock and Wrestling is Captain Lou Albano.
as a
Yeah.
manager. No, never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Not.
That's the biggest miss of the WWE clicks is there's no manager clicks.
Yeah, they could have definitely
Right?
gone a
Yeah,
lot
Bobby
further with
Heenan. Yeah, because we need a Bobby
Sideline
Heenan
stuff.
and Captain Lou. Yeah.
Oh, we need a Paul Heyman.
that. Yes.
Sideline active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As bad as he is, I still feel like Vince McMahon would be funny, just purely for like the hilarity of it.
They
But
could have done a bunch of
Well,
stuff.
the managers would be awesome because that's when you can have run-ins. If they're on the map, then you can have like you put someone like that shares a keyword on the sideline and like once per game. It's called a run-in, sideline active, and they can just
Ricky
come in and
Steamboat.
attack.
There's your
That's the
support
other
and your
one, Miles.
support and leaderships and stuff. Oh yeah, Steamboat for sure.
Ricky
Yeah.
Steamboat.
Honky Tonk Man. Yeah, there's so much. Attitude Era, they have most of them. We'd need the rest of DX, which would be what X-Pac, China, and the Outlaws.
Yeah, that was
No,
for
we just
sure.
need an iconic son.
that was the
Yeah.
that was the thing was I wanted to build a team with HBK, but he had like no generic
No keywords. They're terrible.
So I
Yeah.
was like, what am I doing? Like, what can I do with this?
Yeah.
It's just like,
I will
Oh.
tell you that piece gets targeted because when the band gets tuned up, I'm like, this piece is gonna wreck something.
well, that was the whole idea. Was I wanted to tune up the band. I was like, oh, this could be great, just some sweet chin music action. But it was like,
Well,
nope.
I played Looper first, and I don't remember if I crit or what, but I had 3 tokens and I took them all off and one-shotted his Rachel Summers, right? Who's the
Oh.
Who did he play? The Cosmic one. Rachel
Oh.
Summers, right?
Wait.
Yeah. Yeah, she got
Oh,
one-shotted. Sweet
Hope
chin music.
Summers.
Hope Summers. Yeah, that's what I meant. But yeah, she got one-shotted Sweet Chin music because I removed all 3 tokens.
Very nice.
Yeah, but Attitude Era, definitely the rest of DX. I know he's in AEW now. I would love to see like a classic Chris Jericho from the Attitude Era. The Hardys, Rikishi,
Oh yeah, Stinkface.
Edge and Christian.
Yeah. Huh?
And the Dudleys.
Oh yeah,
You might as well.
Dudleys. Yeah, this
Oh,
was
Introduce
really
table terrain.
Yeah.
Tables and ladder terrain too, with the Hardys bringing it. You get ladder terrain.
Yeah. Yeah. Devon generates the table. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty
Underneath
of
an
stuff you could've
opposing
done.
character, and then you're able to like do damage. The Hardys if they're on a higher elevation. Place them within 4 squares adjacent to an opposing character and then like increase their damage or something.
Yeah, I would like to have seen more things where if you cross elevation, you get bonuses.
Yeah.
They all gives like well, that was kind of like what they did with the ropes thing, right? With some of the powers, where if you got and like the
Yeah.
ropes turned into like was it hindering terrain, I think too, or something
It was
that.
like
So
printed
Yeah,
and
printed
blocking. It
hindering.
was very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
I mean,
actual
yeah.
like
I love it.
ropes. It was really weird.
Yeah, like I understood it, but it was it was its own thing.
Well, they always wanted
That's
you to
why you
have
have
like
ladders
you
and
could
stuff.
increase it by like the amount of ropes, but it was so hard to pull anything off that it was just challenging. Any big Attitude Era ones that haven't been made already?
They pretty much have all the main Attitude Era.
Well, when
Yeah,
did,
I mean,
when did what's his name? When did Mysterio start? Because I don't know when he like.
he was in WCW and then he came into WWE like during the Ruthless Aggression era after
Okay,
they bought
so
out
not-
WCW.
So not
Yeah.
Rey
Attitude.
Mysterio, he started wrestling in 1922.
Yeah, that's
Fair.
all right. Yeah.
What are the main women that have not been made that you'd want to see in here?
China, obviously, yeah, but that she's gonna be part of her Attitude Era.
Yeah,
Fabulous
Lita?
Moolah.
Lita for sure.
Yeah. Oh, we need Mae Young.
We do not
You
need
know,
Mae
that
Young.
incapacitated people. Yeah, it's the flashing her old puppies.
I think Paige and AJ Lee were big in the women's revolution.
Yeah.
They would be good in there.
Yeah.
And I think
I
wasn't
just want a Mae Young that makes a hand.
I do not want a Mae Young that makes the hand. Wasn't
What's per game generating hand bystander?
Becky Lynch was part of the planned wave 2, wasn't it? Wasn't she?
Yeah, she never got made.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, her and Bailey Bailey, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte were the 4 horsewomen of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need a model for Bailey, just get a tomb. Just saying.
Yeah.
Get a what?
It's about right. A
What-
tomb.
Oh God.
What about the chase set? I think it needs like just champions. I would love to see Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle. I'd like to finish off the Shield too, because we got Reigns. So not the biggest Ambrose fan, especially now, but Rollins and Ambrose I would have liked to see.
Do we have a
I
Randy
see
CM Punk.
champions is CM Punk. I think a good thing to do too with the chases is make like old champions like Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund. Superstar Billy Graham.
Anyone that's just had a belt or a big run with the belt, I should say.
I see
Yeah, those were
Justin
just- those were big
buying
names.
Ventura at some point.
Yeah.
Talking crap on Hogan the whole time. Man, that's a good question. The chase set.
Did we
Did we
get?
just get the many faces of Vincent K. McMahon?
Yes.
Was you chase set of the
Right.
Ministry? Everyone besides Undertaker. So you would have the Acolytes, Midian, Viscera.
We should get naked
Brood,
Midian
which would be
with the
Gangrel.
fanny pack.
So here's the
Yes.
problem. I would buy all of this without even looking at it. I just
Oh,
think,
yeah.
Yep, bought. Oh yeah.
Oh, we never got a Randy Orton either, right? Was he also Attitude Era, or was he a separate like?
No,
later?
yeah, he came back. He came into WWE about 03. 02, 03.
Well, I don't know when that
Yeah.
was era wise.
He
Yeah,
could
that's
be a
the
chase
rest.
for
Yeah,
sure.
so the Attitude Era ended realistically in 2001 when WCW was bought out, and then the
Okay.
Ruthless Aggression Era came in after they
Okay.
took the F out.
Gotcha.
There's so
2002.
many properties here too. Like you could just of what WWE has owned, right? Like Rob Van Dam. Sure.
Oh, yeah,
Sign
dip
me
into
on.
ECW.
Yeah. Tommy Dreamer. Okay. Sandman. Sabu. Like Taz. Kurt Angle. Please let me do that. Like this is a really WizKids. Figure it out.
So one of the things that I don't know if it really hurt them, but I didn't like personally was that these came out like right at the same time that they upped the scale around, was that Future Foundation? Wonder Woman 80?
It was no, it was actually House of X was the initial uptick in size, and then I think it did again, but I don't remember where that fell.
Well, that's like where these came out. So even when they came out, these guys are like larger than life, and they looked smaller than a lot of the pieces, which I didn't like. So I would love if they brought back WWE cliX and then just rescale them. There's what were some of the ones that we were supposed to get? They showed a picture of Sting, right?
It was
And
also
then
it was him. There was was it the demon or whatever the heck that I'm sorry, like
oh,
his
Bray
name is
Wyatt. Yeah.
yes, Bray. There was a few of them. I think we were supposed to get a Hogan too, if I'm not like I remember him being one of
Yeah.
them. There was a handful of renders that I remember getting seen passed around that were like, hey, here's Wave 2. So
Yeah, really sad that
I was,
it stopped.
I will admit, I was really surprised that you didn't build Triple H like on Assassin or Politician. To be fair, Redmond, I was like that. Like I was looking at who might build what, and I was like, Redmond might take him. He's
He
got a
was,
good keyword.
yeah, no, he's on the list. It's so much fun to just keep giving people stunners with Stone Cold. Yeah. So
Until you hit your own guy, and then you're like, oh crap.
Oh, you can hit your own guy
Listen.
and keep going.
I know,
Yeah.
but I don't want to hit
Stone
my
Cold-
own guy.
Stone Cold with a power gem is bullshit. Just so we're clear.
It's not even that bad. He's 4 for 5, not penetrating. And then you're sitting there playing Captain Universe, Spider-Man. Get out of here.
It was fine.
It was
You were
not
fine.
fine. Whatever. Is the last one is the NXT.
Copycat is really
Yeah,
a
and
problem.
Copycat. Whatever. Get out of here with your
Yeah, I did not
copycat
realize what that
Captain
15 points was.
Mhm.
Luckily, I played out round 1, so I understood it by round 2. I was like, Jesus, this piece is broken. 15 points of a cardboard cutout, which is better than my plastic clicks. Yeah.
The last one is the NXT and Blue Chippers. I like the two that
NXT.
I'm not as familiar with NXT, but the Leviathan and Prototype, the versions of Batista and Cena, I thought those would be cool
yeah,
to have.
OVW.
Yeah, OVW. That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
Yep.
And then get like an older
NXT is interesting because that's all like the big stars right now, which I think would be perfect because you're gonna want like the faces of NXT. So Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, those are two must ones. It's just wrestling shifts so fast. It's really hard to put anyone in some of these columns because they can change so fast.
Yeah.
NXT would say Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano. Those are both huge ones. Adam Cole was huge in NXT, the whole Undisputed Era. Well,
Yeah.
that's where it existed. Aleister Black. Man, NXT's had some really great talents, honestly, go through it. So,
And they're always like either on the way up or on the way out.
right.
Like Braun Breaker, but like now he's the main roster. So
Right.
yeah, because they go to the main roster pretty quick.
So it's hard to make someone and have it be the NXT, and then all of a sudden, by the time the piece actually comes out, they're probably main roster or they're released.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Very neat question, though, William. Thanks for writing that one in. Next, we have Dylan Barrett. Are you guys excited for Smash and Destroy? So far, what are we, 4 days in? I'm liking the characters that we don't see that frequently, and it just seems like a very interactive set, which I really like. It seems like you're either going up and fighting right away, or they do a lot of unique things. So I'm really liking it so far. I wasn't really sure what to expect out of this set.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are really missing the point because like they don't see figures that have meta potential, but once again they don't understand what that word means. You can look at like the swap figures, like the Absorbing Man, for instance. What he does is insane, and I realize that he's not what you would consider meta, but people are not going to be ready for figures like that. They're just so off the wall that you're going to be able to catch a lot of teams off guard by playing those figures. And they're really never going to see a ton of play because they're going to be very niche. But I think there's a lot of gems that are going to be really surprising. I think that Giant Man 2 at 30 points can be insane. Place 4 that's without line of fire after making willpower and it's 3 through 6 is huge. It's very easy to get a motorcycle because you always want to give people motorcycles. But yeah, the Absorbing Man is the one that I'm really I'm really looking at the Tooth Gnashers. I think that this set's going to surprise people at how good the figures synergize with already competitive teams and potentially makes them better.
Yeah, the going back to the Absorbing Man though, like that's the kind of stuff that I really like, where you have all these options and you have to make these decisions on the fly of like what to bring in and what to do. The only downside is obviously the like equipping whatever one that you put in, you lose that stuff when you go in and out. So he's just going to be what is on the dial for the most part. But he does like so much.
I like him in
there's
pulp.
so many options.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure, pulp. But he goes up to what,
there's
at least F?
7? An F, yeah. So at least 7, which that sounds about right. So that means that your entire sideboard is going to be 6 Absorbing Mans. That's just going to be fun in pulp.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a really cool piece we've seen so far.
Yeah.
I think we've only seen the water one and the normal one, right?
Yeah, we've only seen those two, and he does.
And then the play at home kit one, which is really interesting because it's a cheaper version of the Cav Chase.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yep.
It's literally.
And people have noticed too that there's terrain that are multiple terrains, so you're actually able to choose a terrain to put on this card and be able to use 2 powers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's what that one was
We have
about. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, because we have the smashed or the crushed bug and then the mound. Because the crushed bug is going to be water and hindering, and then the other one's going to be blocking and elevated.
Oh, that's
so you
really
close
cool.
combat expert and flurry or something like it's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Flurry, giant reach 2. Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot of options I think there.
Yeah, I'm excited, and we're only what is it now? So the 12 boosters. So how many are we in? 9 boosters?
No, 10, right? Because he does 2 a day.
10? Is he doing? I thought he was doing 3. He did at least 3 on day 1, didn't he?
Yeah, because it would take 6 days. So it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we aren't even a full brick in, and yeah, really cool.
The numbers or the letters are insane to see that many because I can just I really want to know how rare the other ones are because we've seen sets like Deadpool Weapon X where the Storm A and Storm B. Oh, is it the B that is really rare?
Well,
the
thing with all that stuff is that when you have a prime, the A side to that prime is usually just as rare, or even more rare. Like look at Colossus or Rogue from Deadpool Weapon X. It was hard to get those. Like I pulled way more prime Colossuses than I did the regular one, and that's been going on for
but now Absorbing Man has 7.
But the thing is that
versions.
there's no way that that's the case. Like they have to have just printed enough, I would think.
They have, yeah.
Oh, I'd hope so.
I would hope so, yeah.
It's got to be different with this because going up to F, having all that be rare, and then everything else is just like top loaded with all the other rarity or the other numbers.
Yeah.
Like, I believe all the Absorbing Mans are commons too.
Yeah, I think they are because the starting ones are he's in the 007, so yeah.
Yeah.
If they're done like that, though, I don't mind the numbers and the different characters, like the what is it, the Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still 2 different characters, but the A and B side of that.
They are 2 different. They are 2 different goats.
Right, but they're 2 different characters, but they're the same number. It's an A and a B side.
Yeah, no, I thought that worked well for them. I was like, that's a good way to like pair them together.
Yeah, so when they do that, I don't think they have to have like a prime side to it. I don't mind that they do the A's and B's like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this set's really cool. I mean, they've snuck a lot of stuff that really like piques my interest. Like they have hilariously a one shot that is specifically for Asgardians that is actually really good. So I was like, oh, would you look at that? I have to get that card for sure.
There's a couple of interesting ones. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the set review.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting once it's all out and visible. Yeah.
All right, going to Mork. Straight to it. All we have is speculation right now on how Iconics as figures will see rotation. And now we have a 400-point team boxes as well, which will become a question in 2 years or later. With Iconics, is fitting them to rotate like LE's the right approach, or do you feel like rotating Iconics in the same way as existing sets, with 2 showings at Worlds, then booting them from Modern? How do you feel like they should be handled? I think that they should be more like the normal retail sets. The reason the con LEs last longer is because it's harder to obtain them when they first come out and become legal, and they're just not in the circulation to that same degree. Like it'll take months to get some things, so it just 4 to 6 months sometimes.
Depending
look
what
at
it is.
yeah, look at Black Adam, right? Like that's
Yeah.
one that's kind of available but still expensive. So Iconics, you can
We're
really
about to
have them
have
pre-ordered.
we're about to have some Iconics make their third worlds.
Yeah.
Which ones? The Snap Thanos?
Spider-Man, yeah, Snap Thanos, the Spider-Man, and then the Wolverine.
Yeah.
Wolverine? Which Wolverine? Oh, the one in
The
the
one in the
on
bed.
the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Captive Hearts. Yeah.
It would be nice if there was like an official like announcement about it, but where do you guys stand on it?
I agree with that as far as like because they release and they're a purchasable item that's in like regular distribution, right? Like a set. So I don't have a problem with them doing the same 2 year as like a regular set.
Yeah, especially because of like how readily available they are. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know Kong's good and everything, but like, do we really need to see Kong for 3 years? No.
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 Like they're easier to obtain than, you know, yeah.
But so was Kong good, or was Kong good because you could deploy him?
No, Kong was still good post. Like he won worlds after you couldn't deploy him and they nerfed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kong was on the world's winning team.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he was a big deal on that team. Like I saw
Kong
And then
was-
before the
but
Bloodstone
when
came out,
Kong,
he was
Yeah,
running
but
the meta.
But when Kong hit, he was so oppressive because you could deploy him so quickly with Blackheart.
yeah. But
Yeah,
he still is just as good now. You don't get the easy deployment, but he's still just as good.
So out of all
Before
the
Bloodstone,
iconic
he was
sets,
dominating. Yeah,
so
we
out
just
of
I
all
don't
the
need
iconic sets, you have Kong, and then what else?
The roses,
Keaton.
him
The
too.
Roses. Yep.
Okay, so 2 sets. Keaton, so 3 sets.
I think the stuff from D&D is gonna have to go after 2 years. Like the broadsword is like the most equipped equipment at Adepticon.
Displacer Beast, I think, is untapped.
I like
Yeah,
him.
he's just a lot of points.
Yeah.
That's the only issue with him.
I don't have a problem with this. Like, I get it's a collectible game and there's chance and everything else, but people complain about access to figures. Like, I think Iconics helps build
No,
the
no, no.
access
I'm
to
just saying it
figures.
sucks that you're gonna have these iconics that are so easily available that's gonna be legal for 3 years, not like the LEs. Meanwhile, you're gonna have sets like Deadpool Weapon X or AV60 or Disney Plus that are only modern for 15 months.
Which is why I think
You know.
it should be a hard 2 years. 2 years from release. Because you know when they come
Yeah.
out,
No,
you know
for
they're
sure.
going out.
Oh, a rolling rotation? Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what you're committing to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what if the Lantern set comes out when it's supposed to, that's gonna be very disappointing. That it's not even gonna get in July, so you're gonna have it for 14 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say 14, yeah.
Yeah, and nothing in HeroClix happens in a vacuum, right? So the problem is like what looks good today may not look good in 6 months.
No.
But at least Iconics gives people a chance to put something on the board, or they don't feel like they're going to get pants immediately. Like Trigon's a nice piece, right?
And he's not busted in modern. He's just good.
But they
Right.
keep pumping these out. They're all good for the most part. So after 2 years, they can probably move along. And it seems like Silver is just getting bigger and more supported. So it's not like these figures are unplayable after 2 years. They're just going somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Silver
agree.
wasn't a thing. I would say for sure they'd keep it 3 years, but with us having a Silver as an official format, like it's fine. It's
I think
once
Iconics is
people
one of
understand that better.
I think Iconics is one of their biggest successes, honestly.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They
Some
never
testing would be nice.
They never they never said too that it's going to be 3 years, right? They
No.
they could have honestly
No, I'm just saying that
forgotten about the first few.
This is gonna be the third world for the first few, so it's there hasn't been we just haven't had any rotate yet.
We've also had
So-
5 years for Death Metal Wonder Woman, and the Plastic Man objects have been here forever.
5 years and counting.
Yeah.
Metal's
So
Well, no, the Plastic Man objects didn't come out until later. They
Yeah.
were originally
that's right.
supposed
Yeah,
to, but the
Plastic Man
pandemic
came
stopped them
out.
from coming out.
yeah,
Came
Plastic
out
Man
first.
came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's still legal.
Yes.
Yeah,
Fulcum
Plastic Man's still
Bomb.
legal, but yeah, the barrel's only been out for this will be its third Worlds, which is on par with
Lees
the
and stuff.
LE's 3 years.
That's it?
So honestly, outside of Keaton, the Iconics have been what? Kong was amazing, but you had to prepare for him. You've had to prepare for a lot of pieces in clicks.
Well, yeah,
So
I just don't like the 3 years. The 3 years is just like Death Metal Wonder Woman for it's like what this is. I think it's what is this her fourth Worlds that she's gonna be modern for?
Yeah,
At least,
because it was because of the fact of how she was released like during the pandemic was the thing.
fourth and counting. Let's go, baby. 10 years.
Wasn't Fulcum Abominus though? Weren't those
Yeah.
all by the case
yeah.
for Wonder Woman 80?
No, was that by? Yeah, it was Wonder Woman 80 was the buy by the case one for that. It was that one. You had Gorilla Grodd and something else, right?
The Lex
Plastic Man.
Brainiac.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was great. That was so long ago though.
Yeah.
All right, so just to wrap up here, I think that they should rotate after 2 years. Miles,
2 years. I like
Dan?
2 years.
I'm honestly okay with the 3. Honestly, like it's really not that big of a deal. Like it's at least with more things getting addressed, I would say at a more like good cadence. I don't have an issue with them staying for 3.
Pete.
Well, Dan had to be smart and throw a wrench into this. So I agree. If things are being addressed reasonably, you get quarterly to, every 6 months watch lists. Yeah, 3 years. If not, 2 years. But here's what's the advantage of the Iconics. You know what you're getting, right?
So I'm curious though here. I wanted to move on, but why do you think that Iconics should get an extra year than regular retail product?
I think everything should get 2 years, like from the release date. But the problem is like you can't do a rolling release date.
Yeah, you can't have a rolling rotation. Basically, is what and they like to do the whole cadence of hey, after Worlds, everything falls off. So if they're gonna keep doing that, then you have to.
I hate the 15-month set.
Yeah,
so
I don't like that either.
So you're saying 3 years so that it's not 14 months, basically.
Yeah, because you're like a set like Panther, which is like I really am happy about this, but like Panther will technically get way more months in Modern because it popped out right after
months.
Worlds. Yeah, it'll get a lot.
Right.
It'll no, I think it'll get more than that. It might even get almost like full 2 years. So
That's what I mean, 22 months, because it'll go from it's going from the end of November to the middle of September.
yeah,
in 2
so
years.
like I love it because I love that set, but at the same time, it's not fair when you have a set like that, or you have a set like Disney Plus, which I love that set too, and that set's only is gonna get the whatever like 18 months or whatever it is now, where it comes out. Yeah, it comes out and you get it's going to see 2 Worlds, but as far as like for Modern itself as a format, it's only getting its 18 months that it was legal. So, which is not a lot of time. Like that, like I barely just completed the Egyptians last year, so.
All
And I get the challenges of this. Like I get like there's no good like great way of doing this past like okay, so Worlds is every year in September or something else, but man, it like really sucks to invest or get a set you like forget it, like invest, forget it, like a set you like. Like say you're Wes and you love Deadpool, you get Deadpool and Weapon X.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that many chances.
Yeah, no, I get it, and that's
and
why
if you're Wes, because you don't go to HeroClix events, you're going to get way less chances.
You get a lot of chances to talk about Deadpool though.
But yeah, but not a lot of chances to play him though.
Yeah, do you really care about Modern legality?
I guess my thing is too is that it's at least nice with the legacy format of Silver where you can take I can take all my stuff that's going to rotate in 6 months and be like, all right, let me just run it in Silver because I can do that now, and I have even more support for them than I can give them now because I have an extra 100 points to play with. But at the same time, it's like, man, there's I'm at the point right now where I have like 3 different teams I want to test and play. but it's so hard to fit it all in to try to be like, okay, well, what do I actually want to try to like stick with to play in modern?
Well, that's actually a good point with the iconics then moving to your silver points faster in silver, which I like. But we're going to move on to question number 2. Should Keaton be benched swiftly after this Worlds like the Scott Porters were due to problematic gameplay and overuse? And do you think he'll hit the ban restricted list in silver thereafter?
Well,
He already did hit that ban restricted list in silver, but he should be benched immediately before Worlds.
I think, let me be very clear. I think you should put Keaton on the bench, get out the staple gun, and make sure he stays there.
Yep.
Like, he's like, it's not fun. Like, you sit down and you're like, all right, I traveled, I did this, I did that. Oh, cool. A Keaton team.
and I played against Main Force Keaton. It was, and granted, my team is very free action heavy, but it was not a good time. I'm just like, all right, my team does nothing of what it's supposed to do.
And what blows my mind is that we're getting like all this hate for Chair Panther because he's on all these teams. The reason that he is being played to the extent that he's being played is that so people can play the team that they built and stop Beetlejuice from coming in. If Beetlejuice,
Oh, I mean, I don't even. The funny thing is, I don't even care about Chair Panther. Like I'm just gonna mop him up and get 30 points. Like that's fine.
So I would argue Chair Panther has a lot more utility now, especially with the one shots,
Oh yeah,
but he's not a problem.
no,
no, because
he's
he's
not at
not a
all.
Like
problem. No,
you've never sat down and said, "Oh my God, Chair Panther, what do I do here?" You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Chair Panther, there's 30 points."
he's
If
seeing.
if he's crippling your team that much because he's taking away 2 sideline game elements, then your team is unbalanced. I'm gonna say.
He
Like
has
you're
plenty
not.
of utility, but he would not be on as many teams if Beetlejuice was not the problem that he is.
I still think he would be depending. I think he'd be a lot cheaper in price point, but I do think he'd still be on plenty of teams because he is the one figure that takes 2 sideline game elements, which is good in and of itself. But he's also your leadership. He's an outwit, and he's a tempo piece because with the vibranium removal to take a token off. So he offers a lot of utility for 30 points.
He does, but that's why, like, literally, I've seen plenty of people, and myself too, you're breaking theme just because you need Chair Panther on there for your team to work. You wouldn't be
You
breaking
broke
theme just for
way
that.
more than Panther.
I did?
Yeah, you played way more than just Panther to break theme.
I could have stuck with Mystical.
I'm sure you could have,
Yeah,
but like,
but if you're going to do that. I've done that too, where I break theme because of Panther, and if you are going to go non-theme, then you might as well add other figures since you're going non-theme.
oh,
Yeah.
I understand. Anyway, I'm
But
not.
Chair Panther is the reason why you're even thinking of building non-theme. Because like right now, my team starts with Chair Panther Predigaton. Like that's just like that's the new double porters right now.
See, that's wild because those two don't even cross my mind. It's like, nah, there's plenty of other stuff that is worthwhile to play. And
How do
two don't
those
even-
two
Oh, yeah,
not
but no,
cross your mind?
They don't. It's because they're just. I'm not worried about it. I played and I did just fine without them.
Yeah, but you're looking at it through a vacuum. What you need is look at it more in a broader scope of like why people are going to be playing those. Because you
No.
can look at it, well, that's not my play style.
Yeah.
Those two pieces there's plenty of people that didn't play porters because they didn't have to.
Oh, I know.
But
I know. I didn't play
Predigaton and Panther are the 2024 or 2025 versions of Black and White Shirt Porter for 50 points.
No, I get that.
They're,
I'm not.
they, they're
Yeah,
not
I'm not-
exactly the same. They do something totally different, but that's because the meta's completely shifted.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with your point. I'm just stating that I don't think people need to get so tunnel vision to so like I have to play this, but I understand people's penchant to want to.
Well, it's not about having to. You got to look at what they bring to the team, and if you want to compete at the top level, you're gonna get a 20-piece leadership with TK. Then the Chair Panther is able to shut off more than just Keaton with your leadership. All that stuff. So yeah, they bring more to the team because you're not pigeonholing yourself. You're using them because like they're the best use of 50 points. It's not even close in modern as a whole.
I know. I wasn't even debating that.
Yeah, that's what's yeah. It's not people. Yeah, it's just because like if you want to compete, like you put those two pieces with anything, and like your team can compete essentially.
All right, going to question number 3. Elitism certainly operates within every competitive game, and I can certainly say I've witnessed some people, however conscious or not that they may be of this, purporting that if you're at the top, if you're not at the top, you're at the bottom mindset towards players not in the same circle. What advice would you give to new players that are shut down or made to feel small for their attempts to better understand the game? I think anyone with that mindset probably really isn't really at the top, right? Maybe they just had like a good day.
Yeah, no. I when I got back into cliX in 2021, like I didn't know what I was doing, and so I was playing online, and I was playing with top players, and not a single one of them like scoffed at me or acted like an elitist. Like they did their best to help me. So yeah, I think that yeah, you're just around the wrong people. That's I don't. The elitist mentality is not the top players. I think that they're below average players would have that mentality because, like you said, they're having a good day.
Yeah. And they're just kind of feeling themselves because they're having a good day and they
Yeah.
can knock somebody down. But like to some degree,
Yeah.
newer players do have to take a little bit of a beating at first when jumping into competitive.
Mhm.
But if you're willing to learn and take advice, you grow fast. The majority of the top players are far from acting like that towards new players. Mostly even give you
Yeah,
advice
yeah.
like
And
after
if
their
you're losing,
game.
yeah, that's I think the most important part is that a lot of newer players probably think of it as elitist when a more experienced player or better player like is giving them advice after a game, and
Mhm.
they need to not take it that way. It's not them trying to say you're bad. It's just them trying to give you advice to help you get better. So don't scoff at it like that, because I know there's a few people that just scoff. I've seen it, when I've tried it as well as when others have. Just be willing to be a sponge essentially if you want to learn the game and get better.
I mean, everybody
Exactly.
thinks differently, so it's like having that many perspectives is, I don't think, a bad thing. It's like, hey, like everybody has a different play style, how they approach the game. So that's the biggest thing for
Yeah.
me, at least, is someone that's like, hey, I'm always looking for feedback. So
I think as long as you learn from your losses and you're open to advice, then you'll get better very quickly and you will surpass those people that you're talking about. And then it feels pretty good to beat those people.
Man, I'm trying to think, like, did I ever experience that? Not really. Like we play a competitive area, so like we ran into quote name players pretty quick, and I didn't have that. In fact, my first competitive game against a competitive player, he played a fair team and he helped me figure out my team as a new player. So I did much better than I would have done without his insight. So I'm sorry if that's what you're getting locally. That's terrible. And really, you should help to just set a much harder edge against those kind of people and allow them to do that to new players. Because if you don't have new players, the game dies, right? Like, I think the one thing we're always about is community. Like, we give each other crap. Like, I hate Rebin's guts, and I do. But, like, like, that's the whole thing is, like, we have a community because of, like, this game. So that's really terrible, man. I'm sorry that anybody experienced that. So
And those are probably the players that only play battle royals at big events too.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't get behind that. I've had probably all the competitive events we played in all different formats, probably two truly, honestly terrible games. And they were against people that I have no idea who they are. So it's not the normal community of competitive, right? Because we kind of all know each other.
Right. How do you view the way unique metas exist in different geographical areas, both inside and outside the U.S.? What have been some of the most interesting trends you've witnessed? with HC units, I feel like even more so now that the information is just widely available. The what do we call it? Where the regional bias or whatever. Yeah, I feel like that's starting to get mixed up a little bit more. There might be the occasional like favorite figure, but I feel like overall you're starting to see people see teams and try more things a lot quicker than you used to. Or am I just making that up?
No,
No,
No.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh.
There's still going to be a regional meta just because play styles differ. But
Yeah.
you do like out here we have players that see a team that won and play it, not realizing that it's a pilot. That's the most important thing than that. But
So actually, yeah, I'll
Like-
build upon that. So I don't know. I think it's more of the play style versus the teams because you see right now a lot of people trying the same teams that are doing good in different areas, but those aren't the teams that always win in the certain areas because I don't think play styles are the same. So I think it's more the play styles than the types of teams that people are playing.
yeah,
well, it's like us, right? For our icy, there was a bunch of Hadaris at our icy. Who played the Hadaris? Most of our locals. But our locals play pretty aggressively, and she's one of the best like aggressive range attackers you can get, if not like the best. So it was fair that like a lot of people played her. So, but that was just something that I noticed from like just from our statistics from our event. That was like an easy like, oh, look at that.
yeah. Out
I
here is
think you're
Black
gonna
Lantern.
always. I'm sorry, Miles. Go ahead.
I'll say out here is Black Lanterns. They're still obsessed with getting Black Lanterns to work.
I mean, that'd be cool if they did.
Well, see, that's more of a play style
I
thing
think-
because I guess around everywhere else,
Yeah.
people have realized that that they're not going to work, and so they have not been trying to get them to
Yep.
work.
Very true.
I think the regional playstyle thing is fun, honestly. Like I like it. Like
Yeah.
that's the point of having like worlds and nationals is like you get to see those things. Like there's things that happen mostly in California that have happened to me in games, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that coming because we don't do that, right? And so I think that part of it's cool. I think units is absolutely cut down on that because we used to have to wait for like an event to finish, and then everyone would dissect like who won in their team, right? Like that's what we talked about, you know.
But
like,
you'd have to
so-
like search for that, and if you didn't find the certain post where people posted like those top 8 pictures of the build sheets,
Yes.
then you just
Yep.
like missed out on that, and so it's just so much
Yeah.
easier to track that stuff now.
people
And
tagging
but it's
people to
crazier
figure
too
out
now.
what the build sheets were. Yeah. So Unit just takes care of it. So we've gotten lazier that way, but there's still I don't know, man. I think there's still regional play things.
I don't know if I call it lazy. That's just like the ability to have access to more information is generally good. So like then the learning curve is not as steep, I think, or the like or just the ability to like understand like what's happening in different areas.
That's
No,
fair.
yeah. The reason why there's going to be regional, I think it's like play style.
Yeah.
You're slowly seeing it because people see teams that win and try it and they lose and they don't understand why. A lot of regions too that don't go out to big events, all they're doing is looking at builds. They've never actually seen like players like Isaac, players like Lucas, them play. They just see their teams
Right.
and think that they can beat that team or they can play that team just as well. Just because you're piloting someone else's team that you think is how it works doesn't mean that's how it works, and I don't think it actually helps you as a player. If you want to get better as a player, I think watching streams with those teams is actually the best way, and most people just don't do that.
The mark of a good game is not that you own the pieces so you win because of the pieces. The mark of a good game is that the pieces will help you or hurt you based on how you understand the game.
And it's gotten better because a few years ago it was if you owned the certain pieces you won.
Yeah.
It's definitely not that way now. So at least I don't feel like
What was it, top 4 with the Legacy APOC and the Thanos?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Mhm.
I think like the biggest thing for me is like that's definitely a point because it's like I could never play like team that Redmond just played at Adepticon. I could never play that team because it's just I would not play it nearly as well. And same with like plants. I would not play plants nearly as well as Miles does. So
It's piloting, yeah. It's all about you have to practice and practice and practice and really understand the nuances of build. You can't just copy a build because you don't know why a piece is thrown on the team.
yeah, well, that's what I mean. I'm also trying to like differentiate just like even like just the group here or like the closest one I could probably play is Pete, but I think Pete and I line up as far as like things.
Even then, I'm not sure because you guys still play. From what I've seen, the play style is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I have a 35-second attention span, so I'm either trying to win or lose within 35 seconds.
That's a good strategy.
interesting. I guess that's not my play style for sure. But I was more thinking about like the pieces that you play, and I'm like, well, some of our stuff lines up, so.
Yeah. No, that's the difference though, and that's why I've always said that. We have very few good team builders in this game. Like you can probably count them on both hands, maybe your toes.
Oh,
I'll give you that, your hands and your toes.
I'm a terrible team builder.
It's hard. It's a lot of people think of it as homework, which is crazy because like I team build for fun, but a lot of people like that's why they pilot pre-made teams, essentially the copy paste strategy, because they look at team building as a hindrance when actually if you team build, that makes you a stronger player because you're understanding why a piece is on a team.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been trying to do this year is like get better at team building.
It's shown. Yeah.
Oh, because it's like
figuring out the weaknesses and optimizing it for the next event. Yeah.
Because it's like before it was like I had no idea. I'm like, well, how do I make this better? I don't know. that was my answer most of the time was I don't know how to make this better.
The only other thing that's part of this question is outside of the U.S. I think that what might matter beyond what we've mentioned is just that if it's harder to get like a newer set out, the meta might not shift as fast just because the pieces aren't as available. Yeah. And so it might feel a little slower, but
yeah, and then you'll have those players that pay extra amounts of money just so they have all the pieces, so they seem good against their locals.
So that's not actually as much of a problem as we have. Early thoughts or hopes on the Heralds of Galactus box set upcoming. Expectations for synergies with whichever Galactus receives a legacy card soon. I just hope they're all super playable, both individually and as a team. And I don't even really care what Galactus gets a legacy. I just like it if it was the newest one, just because it has the most detail. It's huge. It's got the double dials on there. I would like if it got a similar mechanic though, where the map got smaller. That's something that I played quite a bit the last year of its modern life leading into Worlds. So I think that's a really cool thing that I really hope we get. But I'd like to see them all kind of work together.
I hope it's designed the same time because they're bringing out planets, and Galactus is a planet eater.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So it'd be really cool if Galactus interact with the planets that are coming out.
I also hope it's the Galactic Guardians one, just to be funny. Or actually, no, let's go even like way into the curveball. Let's do Zombie Galactus.
Zombie one, yes.
I don't know why they wouldn't just give you multiple Legacy Galactus, right? Galactize. What's the plural?
Galacti.
Galactus. Anyways, I don't know why you would get a chance of multiple.
Yeah,
but the most recent one makes the most sense. I mean, heralds are incredibly powerful figures, so I don't need this to be a super broken set, but have options, right? Like have each of them be uniquely at least adequate.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Galactus be like the gods, the Egyptian gods, where you can if someone has a herald keyword, you can place it on their dot.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, the other thing is multiple point values so that you can choose who you want to play at what point value and have their powers like be actually a little different and shifting. Kind of like the 400 sets.
Even if Galactus gave out like willpower, I don't know, like power cosmic, because that's a very potent thing to give.
Well, yeah, power cosmic would be giving out power cosmic in a range.
Yeah.
Sort of like the old herald dial, but instead, like if they have the herald keyword, it's free.
Man, that'd be huge. I guess like heralds aren't. Do we really see a lot of heralds getting played, honestly?
Lantern Legacy is probably going to take that up a notch.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, that's going to be different. But like right now, if you look at it, like what's more important? Like let's say you're saying playing Prime Swamp Thing. What's gonna be more important? Do you want him to have prob and stealth, or do you want him to have power cosmic?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what especially with 0 points. You're looking at it, you're like, oh god, I got to put Galactus on to get that power cosmic. But you're like,
Well, yeah.
prob might be more important.
I'm just thinking
You
that
know,
if you're paying for that, which I have a tough time wanting them to pay for that, that needs to be more than the Egyptian gods. Like, to me, that should be more than that. But
no, that's what I'm saying. If they have the Herald keyword, you're able to make them a Herald of Galactus for free,
yeah,
just like
yeah,
gods.
yeah.
They give you 2 powers.
I'm just thinking if you're gonna pay for that, it should be what, 20 points, 25? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's an Iconics. It's gonna be 15 or 10 or 5. I mean, that's just. I mean, look at the Dream Ruby.
Isn't the Dream Movie like 25?
It's 15.
Oh no, I'm sorry, it's 15. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the one that gives you power cosmic is 25.
25. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, great to have the insight into wrestling across the podcast team. The Venn diagram between HeroClix players and wrestling fans certainly appears to overlap a lot. Just a light wrestling question today. How much time have each of you spent playing wrestling video games over the years, and what style of wrestling game? Arcade, SmackDown vs. Raw, 2K, etc. Do you feel has given us the best implementation? Man, so I was actually into wrestling video games before I was into wrestling. I started with the WCW NWO World Tour. That game was a lot of fun, and then shortly after that, the WCW NWO Revenge came out. We played that all the way until the next one came out, because then they switched to WWF. And they got that license, yeah. And so then it was WrestleMania 2000, and at the time, the creative player was crazy, and we, again, played that one forever. And then No Mercy came out, and that was like the game changer. We would like spend hours upon hours and days, weekends playing No Mercy. Again, the uptick in what you saw and what you were able to do with the creative player or creator wrestler was just awesome. So yeah, the amount of hours that I put into No Mercy is just absolutely ridiculous. And then we kind of moved on to SmackDown and Raw, but it was just never the same. So No Mercy, we had like parties for.
Yeah, that was peak. No Mercy was peak.
Yeah.
I been a wrestling fan since pretty much the day I was born. I played a few of the NES games, a few of the arcade. Royal Rumble from '92 was like, or '93, I think it was like the first one that I got really into. The biggest memory I have is from the Thanksgiving from 1996, the Nintendo 64 WBF Warzone. This is we couldn't afford a memory card, so we had to, in order to unlock all the characters, we had to leave the game on at all times.
Oh man.
And we lost power right after we unlocked Cactus Jack and Dude Love.
Oh man.
Spent like 3 days unlocking them, and then we lost power. It was just a flicker too. And yeah, that was. And then WBF Attitude. This is when the NWO World Tour was coming out, which we were also playing. But WWF Attitude was the first game with Warzone that actually had the creator wrestler. It was a little rough, the controls, and then then you moved on to NWO Revenge. You just I remember having Wolfpack Sting and giving him the Harlem Heat outfit and making it Kane. You know. Yeah, and then WrestleMania 2000 was great, and then No Mercy was peak.
Yeah.
All the other games, like I remember, the SmackDown ones, those were fun. One of them didn't have Hulk Hogan, and I found a way to make Hulk Hogan because I always wanted my creative wrestlers to look real, and it was real hard to get the tie dye. But then I realized that you could do layers, and so if you put leg hair over the yellow tights and made the leg hair red, it looked like he had his tie dye pants. That was cool. Yeah. That was so there's the last memory before I'll let Pete and Dan, because I know Dan's played a ton of them. It was a last man standing match with Hulk Hogan and Sting, and the bell rang, and Sting, my brother, gave me a gorilla press slam, and I lost because it wouldn't let me get up. So it was a running joke that Hogan died because just literally the opening move was a gorilla press slam, and I had lost the last man standing match.
Dan, did you play it all?
I don't think this counts, but I really enjoyed Def Jam Fight for New York. That was the game that I played that I feel like is the most related.
That was a wrestling game. Yeah, that was
Huh?
a Def Jam. Yeah, that was a wrestling game.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, but that was a great game. I love that game. That
Yeah.
was one of those where like, man, if I could play
It was the same controls and everything as a wrestling game. I mean, yeah.
Because you had like grapples and other stuff you could do in it too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just there was some side scroller like fighting game aspect too, but there was also like you could do grapples and stuff too. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Now, Pete, I know you've played quite a few wrestling games, right?
The 64 series of the WCW and then finally the WWF at the time. Games were some of my favorite gaming memories of all time. We would literally get 4 to 5 people like rotating by and play. We actually bought a Game Genie because you couldn't get like cage matches or blood in the first few.
Yes, I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean just hours and hours. So the closest friends, Rick and I, actually went to back when you'd go to GameStop to like get all this stuff. We bought a Prima guide. So I figured out that like I went down page queue like a diamond cutter off of like the ropes, the corner, because we always played one on like Texas Tornado matches. So you always like couldn't really figure out what your wrestler did because you were already fighting. And there was no like storyline or anything else. You just played it and unlocked people and whatever. So all of a sudden, like I was playing Kevin Nash and he was playing Dallas Page, and he's paying a diamond cutter off the ropes like just out of nowhere, and like I'm super avalanche power bombing people like Kevin Nash, and my one buddy looked at it and says, "You guys bought a guide." We were like, "No, we didn't." Like, that was premium, like most fun version. And honestly, the combat was like super simple, like hard punch, heavy punch, grapple, light grapple, heavy grapple, like special. Like it was. I don't think that ever got any better wrestling games to me, and I played a bunch of them after that too. So
which one was your favorite then?
Probably the WWE one.
Which so there
Which I
was
cannot think of.
it's probably No Mercy then, right?
And 64, yeah, probably
Yeah.
No Mercy.
Okay.
I mean, some of the backstage stuff you could do in the later ones is like super cool, and some storyline stuff.
No Mercy, you could go in the backstage.
There's a little bit.
Yeah, that was
like the storyline stuff got way better, but I don't know that the wrestling ever got any more fun than just 4 people sitting around a living room playing that game for hours.
Yeah.
Like
That
that
was
was
peak.
That was peak. Yeah.
we're gonna do that at Worlds. I'll bring in my Nintendo 64 with some No Mercy.
That would be pretty
Now,
cool,
it would
actually.
have the super important like Nintendo 64 like improved like graphics thing that you plugged in 64. Remember that when that
Yeah.
came out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you had to have that. You couldn't play Perfect Dark without it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What was it called? I forgot what it was called. It had like a little red top to it. You put it in the front
There's an
compartment.
expansion pack.
That was what it was called? Was it just expansion pack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could put it in the front for you to for it to be able to play those games.
I will
Oh.
absolutely play this. Like we should absolutely do this world.
Yes.
Bring a
We might have a
Nintendo.
hard
and dig
time
it out.
hooking up for a TV, honestly, at this point.
You just bring a big boob TV. I like it. Drive it down. You can find one at the thrift store.
I'm just looking for a tube TV.
Yeah.
I find one at a street corner, depending on the night.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's Memphis. You never know.
Yeah, we can just plug it into the lobby because people will stop by.
They will.
All right, we're gonna talk about this offline because there's some legs here, boys.
All right, Wes Robertson.
The click challenge.
I haven't watched wrestling since 99 or 2000. If a guy wanted to get into wrestling, is the storyline too intricate to just jump in? Or is there a point that is the best for new viewers to start watching? If you jump in, you'll probably be a little confused at first, but the stories are just always ongoing, so you get into them pretty quick. The hardest choice is like what show or brand to watch, but the more that you just the more time that you can put into it, the more you can just get sucked into it. So I always kept up more with WWE, and that's what got me hooked in 2000. But if you give it like, I guess it's a little different the way pay-per-views work now, but if you kind of jump in on a pay-per-view and then you watch how it evolves over time, and then to the next pay-per-view, it kind of will show you how it works and how it goes. But
Well, this Monday is actually a perfect jumping on point because it's pretty much the new season after WrestleMania.
yeah,
So
I agree.
that's the Raw after Mania is always like a real good hook because there's surprises and just like excitement usually. So
And if you're able to watch
I was-
WrestleMania too, though, like those matches are usually pretty awesome and
Yes.
pretty intense. So you'll be
Mhm.
watching decent wrestling and then getting into one of the best weekly shows right after.
and I just sent him something to get him into wrestling too. So I sent him the Hulk
That's
Still Rules DVD with the documentary
dangerous.
and the matches. So
I mean, that was me. That was me at AEW, and I still really, like, I had a blast. And I mean, hey, they got a golf clap. They got a golf clap out of me. So
That's
Yeah.
high level. Pete, do you have any getting into wrestling advice?
So I think the after WrestleMania is a great advice if you want to watch WWE. Like I'm not trying to. I love wrestling. Let me be very clear. I love wrestling. I consume a ton of wrestling. It's wrestling, no. It's not like Shakespeare. There's not subtle storytelling. It's not a Coen Brothers film, right? Like you'll figure it out in a couple weeks. So just turn it on, watch it, and decide who you like and who you don't, and just follow it. And how into it you want to get is whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's the fun of it. But find people that like we love to watch it. Like we honestly have a watch party in the Discord for AEW stuff. Maybe we'll do it for WrestleMania. I don't know. I don't know if this episode will be out by then. But like Dan is not a wrestling fan. Is that safe, Daniel?
I enjoy it, but I do not follow whatsoever. Like, it's a fun
Right.
watch, but I have no idea what's going on.
So get your buddies together and watch it. It's a blast. There were many years at the Redmonds where before like Hero Clicks would be like the pre-show event, and then we would watch WrestleMania. Like it was great, man. Like so, just get together with your friends, have fun, disconnect for a while. It's the story of good and evil, and you cheer the good guys and you hate the bad guys, and hopefully you go home happy at the end.
For sure. And then his second question is, with modern rotation on the horizon, does knowing what is likely about to leave modern affect what you build with? Do you pass over new stuff to give the old stuff one last chance in the spotlight? I usually have a team that I've been practicing for a bit beforehand, but depending just on how close we are to Worlds, if I'm still building, a piece rotating out of Modern might have a better chance of making my team or staying on my team just because I know that it's not going to be playable in Modern anymore. So it definitely will affect me a little bit.
I feel the same way. Like, it's like I want to build with some other stuff because it's going to be rotating, so I want to give it like one last ride before it's out in Modern. Like, yes, I can still obviously build with it in Silver. It's just nice to like give it a good send off before it rotates, you know? Like,
Well, the difference
that's
is
my
like
thought.
once it's Silver, it's always Silver, but once
Yeah.
it leaves Modern, it's never Modern again, which is obvious,
exactly.
but that's the main point here.
Yeah, like that's what I did last year with Arachnite. I gave him like one last ride. So now I'm like debating like, do I go Shark or do I go Deadpool and Elsa? Like they're another one that's like on my list of like I would like to play them like one at least, or Prime Elsa. She's another one that's like, oh, she's so good.
Yeah, it's tough because this is actually the first year where I'm actually like consistently building with pretty much the same team and just instead of normally doing where like I play one team at an event and then I just completely go a different direction. So yeah, like I know Man Thing's rotating out and I'm like, man, I really want to play him, but like I'm not even sure if he's gonna be able to make my teams because I have to try and optimize with how the meta is shifting. And so I don't want to force myself into playing a piece that I know is going to rotate that will actually hurt me because I've been playing plants for so long that with the Eagles at the Clix League, like they're ready for it. Like I have to try and change it up. So it's I'm really stuck between a rock and a hard place of if you said like, you know, give it one last ride or like try and optimize it and throw a curveball.
You know, like that's why I'm putting like Blue Beetle on the sideline right now because the game has shifted so much right now that if like Worlds was next month, I just don't think he would be able to hang like he was able to 2 months ago.
No, that's where my problem is because like my teams have been doing really good, but like, I almost feel like I'm overthinking that people are going to be prepared for it, and like I'm not giving it enough credit for like how I'm able to pilot and everything. Like I'm maybe giving everybody too much credit on how they're going to be able to counter my build because like I know how to counter it if I'm playing against it, and so it gets that really mental block
Mm-hmm.
of pretty much having a boogeyman that doesn't exist.
Pete,
I can find you a boogeyman. That's not hard.
Pete, do you have
I'll beat that boogeyman.
any rules when team building, or is it whatever the week before?
Yeah, I can't decide what to do halfway through a game most of the time, so I'm not trying to like pre-plan teams on rotation. You're talking to the right guy here. The thought they win, they lose when they lose. That's all I can tell you.
That's why I'm really curious, like what you play for Animal, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. Like it's just there's so much that got added in the past year, so I'm really curious if you're like, well, I'm gonna stick with at least like one piece that I know is like my like a slot piece of like I'm gonna play this. So
Yeah, Dan, I'll be honest with you. It'll change 7 times in the next 3 days, so don't worry about it because
Yeah,
I don't
Pete
know.
doesn't know what he's playing either.
I know
Better
No, I
not.
have no idea.
it's funny
It
because
better not. The team that we went over, you better be playing.
like my team is completely settled. Like it took me a while to figure out like nail it down, but like I know what I'm playing now.
All right, and then last we have Ryan Bookwood, local tryhard. Welcome to WrestleMania.
Mayor.
Oh, he wanted this in the Vince voice. Pete, do you want a redemption after you went with Bruce Buffer last time?
Welcome to WrestleMania.
That was way better.
That was very nice, Pete. Solid work.
You've been
Miles
redeemed.
and I have a lot of similarities. Thank you.
You've been redeemed. What are the top 3 WrestleMania matches or WrestleManias in your opinion? I think my biggest one was just from 2000, just because that was the first one I watched. So that one was a little bit more special, and that helped me get hooked. It probably wasn't like the best though, but I remember matches more than I remember full cards. Miles, I'm sure you remember every single card in order for all 40.
It's tough. Yeah. So yeah, I was
backwards and forwards.
I have thanks to my uncle a complete collection of the Coliseum videos. So which include all his old pay-per-views. WrestleMania 3 will always probably be my favorite. Right up there with WrestleMania 8. WrestleMania 8 gets a lot of flack because of the crap main event with Hogan and Sid. But like you gotta remember too, like that was 1992. So I was, Ultimate Warrior came back. It was huge for me when that was there. But that has one of the most underrated matches that no one talks about, which is the Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart. It has a great opener with Shawn Michaels right as he became the Heartbreak Kid versus El Matador, Tito Santana. Yeah, there's some really great gems in there. And then right next to that's going to be WrestleMania 3. Yeah, that's there. WrestleMania 2, I think, gets a lot of hate, too. The British Bulldogs versus the Dream Team it's one of my favorite matches from when I was a kid watching. Yeah, the British Bulldogs were amazing. If I had to go for more modern, it'd have to be WrestleMania 18. The Hogan Rock is just too iconic of a match to not ever mention.
That was a pretty good time right there.
Yeah.
Dan, favorite WrestleMania?
What was the one where was it Cena and Big Show?
At a WrestleMania? I'm not sure.
I just don't know. I just remember he actually picked him up, and I was just like, that's wild that he can physically pick up a man that large, just in general. I don't know if that was WrestleMania, if that was like SummerSlam. I do not remember, but
Yeah, WrestleMania in 2009, he picked up Big Show and Edge at the same time.
That's what it was. Yeah, he had both of them on his back. I think he went
Mhm.
F5 both.
Yeah, it was 25.
Yep,
Yes.
just a
Pete,
massive
oh, sorry.
feat of strength.
Yeah,
Pete, do you have your top 3 WrestleManias?
Oh yeah. So WrestleMania 1 is important. You go in a versus Ryder and Mr. Wonderful in the main event. That was where wrestling started launching the mainstream. My favorite wrestling match from that area was Hogan versus the Giant. But shot to WrestleMania 5 was Savage versus Hogan. Miles?
Yeah.
My favorite of all time is WrestleMania 30. Because Daniel Bryan double main evented and came away with both titles. That was just like that turned me back into a little kid. Like I was I'm an adult at that point, and I was so invested in both of those matches. I'm like, there's no way he's gonna do this. Like, there's no way Vince is gonna book this. Like, I'm a pretty cynical wrestling fan, and so watching that happen in real time was just, I was blown away by the end of the night. I was cheering, I was running around, yesing in the whole thing. Like, it was just awesome. Like, so to reproduce that feeling, yeah, it would be very difficult. So my favorite of all time is WrestleMania 30.
All right, yeah, I remember that match too. To piggyback off the previous question, favorite WrestleMania matches or moments? Matches for sure. I think we're definitely both Undertaker versus HBK matches. Those are probably on the list. And what was the other? I can't think of the other one that I had in mind because they were not my favorite matches were not at WrestleMania. That one with Orton. Who did Orton versus Rollins? It was quite a few years ago, but that one where he tried to curb stomp Orton and he turned it into yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a really good match.
That was a great spot. Yeah.
Miles, what about you?
Favorite match of all time for WrestleMania is easily the triangle ladder match that was essentially the birth of the TLC match from WrestleMania 2000 with the Dudleys, Hardys, and Edge and Christian. That match still holds up.
The first TLC match, though, that was SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's one of my favorites for sure.
Match, that's a TLC match. I mean, the finish is they have 2 ladders with a table balanced on both of them. That's a TLC match, the triangle ladder match. Yeah. And then next to that is gonna be Warrior Hogan from 6. It's huge. And then also the Warrior Savage from 7. And then favorite WrestleMania moments. It's really hard to try and pinpoint like my favorite. But I think I have to go back to WrestleMania 8. That Piper Bret Hart match. Like that was before like I understood work rate and everything. Like, like this is me when I was a little kid where like I thought Tugboat was a great, and I still do love Tugboat, don't get me wrong, but like the clinic that Bret Hart picked, and I believe that was also the first time he wore the all pink outfit, was the blood. You had Piper like threatening to go, heel by using the ring bell, and he didn't. The finish was just perfect where Piper had him in a sleeper and he rolled him back and pinned him. That's gotta be my favorite WrestleMania moment is Bret Hart like actually solidifying himself as a single star in WrestleMania 8.
Okay. Oh, and yeah, moments. There was when the Hardys came. I'm big with nostalgia. So when the Hardys came back, like was that 3 or 4 years ago? And it was a 4-way ladder match, and there was like a special unannounced team, and then all of a sudden their music hadn't played for like years, and they came back to that match and won it. That was one of my favorite moments for WrestleMania for sure. Dan, do you have any other matches or moments than the John Cena one?
Unfortunately, not. I just haven't watched enough of them to have like that many memorable moments. So the whole reason I watched that one was because I saw the clip on YouTube, and then I was like, oh, well, I should watch the whole thing.
Pete, what about you?
Miles hit one of mine, as usual. Dudley's versus Hardy's versus Edge and Christian. I would offer Bret Hart versus Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10.
Yeah, that one's
Great.
good.
Oh, great
Yeah.
match.
That was amazing.
Like,
yeah.
just a clinic. Yeah. I always like Bret Hart versus Stone Cold at 13, the submission match, because that helps solidify Stone Cold. And then one of my personal favorites is always Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat, the IC title match from WrestleMania 3. So we went to the video store so much when I was a kid, and I rented WrestleMania 1 through 3 so many times that eventually the video store owner just gave me a copy. So I don't tell you how many times I've watched WrestleMania 3. So yeah, just from that match.
The Hogan one, that's the WrestleMania moment. That's my main problem right now with WWE, like talking about like WrestleMania moments, because like you can tell they're forcing it, and like you can't force a WrestleMania moment. Andre Giant getting body slammed at that entire moment, or the stare between Hogan and The Rock, like that's, you can't, like, in the way the crowd interacts, like you cannot like create that. Those moments just happen, and it just really sucks that they're like so focused on giving people WrestleMania moments. Like what, Zack Ryder? I was at WrestleMania and I had my WrestleMania moment, and I'm like, no.
Well, yeah, now that it's like a
not how you
term
do
and
it.
a thing, now it seems
Mhm.
more manufactured. The other match is Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. That match was really good.
Oh yeah, where he tried the
The shooting,
shooting
star,
star
press.
press.
Yeah, it was a rough ending,
Yeah.
but the rest of the match was awesome. Those two were good. And then his last question is, why was WCW so trash without the NWO angle? I tried watching it and I just couldn't get into it. I never really watched WCW. I've seen just clips. Do you have any insight on that one?
I got nothing.
Yeah, WCW was, if you cared about story, you watched WCW. If you cared about like matches, it was mainly WWE outside of the cruiserweights. But he's also missing a lot, like the Canyon, as when DDP came out with his book, he became Positively Canyon. Like that's amazing. The whole entire hardcore division with Brian Knobbs having Dog, and I don't know if you're familiar with that storyline at all, Redman.
I am not.
So in order to write off the character of Dog, they lost a tag team match. So it's a guy that just barks and like he's like, it's Al Green. He's lost his mind. Brian
Sounds
Knobbs
terrible.
drives him like 50 miles away from the arena, drops him off, and drives back to the arena without him. And that was the last time you ever saw him. Yeah, that is greatness. He's like, no, you suck. Here, no, go. You're gone. Just,
Pete,
I
do you,
gotta
have
try
any,
and find the clip for you.
do you have any insight on why WCW is trash without the NWO angle?
Oh man. Well, so here's the problem in WCW. Like, honestly, prior to Eric Bischoff taking over, it was very localized, like congenial classic wrestling. And so Bischoff pushed it forward. The NWO exploded, right? Like that was the only thing like it going on at the time. So Eric Bischoff has made a living off of his 83 weeks where he beat the WWE, like a very good living, honestly. And it's hard. Like, why was it trash? It was never trash. Like, the wrestling was probably always a little better. Right, Miles? Like, match to match.
WCW, it was, yeah, like I said, the cruiserweights, that was what was really weird about Eric Bischoff was, and he even admitted it too, they didn't have a story for the NWO, so they were just winging it. And so without having an actual story of like where you wanted to finish, like that's why it became that way. And then they gave the book, let Kevin Nash become the booker. That's when it really started to get bad, honestly. But the matches, like with the cruiserweights and everything, or like Eric Bischoff not knowing what to do with Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho asking if he can have the mic for 10 minutes and saying yeah. And so Chris Jericho was able to build up his own character, because that's just how just crappy Eric Bischoff was running this company. He didn't really have a script or anything. He didn't know what to do. So he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, take 10 minutes. And he wasn't able to really help Chris Jericho get even bigger. And that's why he left. That's why a lot of people left, is because there was just no rhyme or reason. They were just obsessed with the NWO. And even though they didn't have an end game, and it really shows.
Well, so they always complain about the talent booking, but honestly, if the talent wasn't doing what it was doing, it wasn't doing anything. So I do remember there are certain matches of WCW. Like honestly, like I'm a huge Ric Flair fan, so there's a lot of like Flair matches that I can tell you were just incredible. But I just remember like random Saturday mornings, like watching Mick Foley take power bombs on unprotected floors, and then just being gone the next week. So like that was just like a Saturday morning main event. You're like, why is this guy getting murdered by Big Van Vader? Like WCW is different.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up the questions. Miles, any final thoughts?
I look forward to watching WrestleMania, at least night one. Hopefully it's not as disappointing as 32 was. That was my first WrestleMania back, and the only reason why I actually stuck with wrestling was because I watched NXT TakeOver Dallas. So I'm hoping that we get a good WrestleMania.
Same. Dan, any final thoughts?
I'm just really excited for the monthly. Feels like it's been like way too long. So.
Feels like it's been longer than it really has.
Yeah. I mean, it has technically been over a month, which is wild because sometimes it's like, hey, in 2 weeks we're back at it for whatever month it is. So like having this long of a stretch without it is a little odd. So,
Pete, what about you?
Oh man, I am stoked for WrestleMania weekend. I am excited for the upcoming monthly. I hope everybody has a great week. And I look forward to seeing what comes out of WrestleMania. Like this is one of my favorite weekends of the year, honestly. So hopefully it lives up to the hype.
Now, it does seem that WrestleMania has overshadowed Easter a little bit, but this weekend is also Easter, so I'll be enjoying Easter and WrestleMania with family, so I hope everyone else out there does too. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya!
Click it!
Cause I'm so